Hey there, Saki here from Saki Tech, and in today's video, I'm going to share 200 plus tips, tricks, hidden features, and basically a complete tutorial for your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Galaxy Note 9 is one of the most advanced smartphones in the world with deep and rich features, and I want to make sure you master this titan of a smartphone. So I'm going to start off with some quick and useful tips and then slowly dive in deeper and deeper into powerful and advanced tactics that will blow you away. We will talk about customization, security, the edge screen, the edge panels, every single feature of the S Pen, some unique apps exclusive to the Note 9, and so much more. So again, this will be a long video which will be broken down into sections that will be time-coded for your convenience so you can navigate easily. So let's dive in and discover, but before we do that, if you do use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, make sure to follow me at Saki Tech Online. All right, let's dive in. All right, so the very first thing I want you guys to do is go to the settings and then scroll all the way down and go to About Phone, tap on About Phone, and then tap on Edit and simply rename your smartphone. So in my case, I can call this one Saki Note 9, and now I have a custom name for my smartphone, okay? The other thing you can do is when you tap on this multitasking icon right over here, it brings up the current active window. So as you can see, they're big cards. What I like to do is I like to tap on this icon over here. I like to switch over to the list view, which makes it all look much more clean. Okay, so I can actually access the settings from here. If I tap this, I can access the messages from here. And also I can swipe these away as if I was doing it in the same thumbnail view right over here. But this time I have a nice, small, compact, and clean view. And of course, the next tip I want to talk about is the tip where when you swipe down on the screen, it brings down the notifications panel. So by default, when you swipe down, it goes into the app drawer. Okay, so if you go to the home screen settings over here, tap on home screen settings, and if you disable this quick open notification panel option, when you swipe down, it brings down the app drawer. When you swipe up, it brings up the app drawer. That is redundant. So what I like to do is press and hold, tap on this, enable the quick open notification panel, and now I have two sets of functions, okay? And this one is very useful because this is such a large phone. So if you're holding your phone like this, you don't have to go all the way to the top. You can just swipe anywhere on the screen just like this. You can swipe twice to expand the quick panel over here as well, all right? And of course, we are always tweaking the brightness of our smartphone. So what I like to do is when you pull this down, by default, you're not going to see this brightness slider over here. So what you want to do is, let me just disable that really quick. So by default, this is what happens. You see the quick toggles and you see the notifications, okay? So if you swipe down one more time, and if you tap this tiny arrow, you'll have this option that says Show Control on top for the brightness level indicator. So if you enable this, now all you have to do is swipe one time and you've got your slider right over here to tweak your brightness as you please, all right? And of course, the next setting I want to talk about quickly, if you tap on settings, if you go into sounds and vibration, you want to go all the way down to the sound quality and effects. And as you know, your smartphone comes with stereo speakers on both sides, and also it comes with Dolby Atmos surround sound. Now make sure you guys enable this to get the maximum quality sound from your actual smartphone. And I do want to let you know they sound absolutely fantastic. And down here you have the Sound Alive features. You have an equalizer. You can tweak these, the treble, the bass, and the instrument and the vocal modifiers by simply dialing this back and forth. Okay, so this is all up to you. If you want more bass, just tweak it right over here for your music. If you want more treble, go right over there. Go to advanced, and from here you can do some advanced equalizing if you so desire. All right, let's move on to the next tip. Now the next tip has to do with your lock screen. So basically if I press and hold, let me change the wallpaper for this example so you can see the clock exactly. Let's just do that on the lock screen because I'm going to be modifying the lock screen in a minute. So if I go to the lock screen right now, What I have is I have the lock screen, I've got the notifications, and I also have a bunch of face widgets, okay? So we have a music controller if you were actually playing some music. If I go back here, we have the clock and the music controller. These are the face widgets. I'm going to show you how to add more, and also I'm going to show you how to modify the way this clock looks. So let's do it this way. Let's go to the settings. Let's go to the lock screen over here, clock style, right under clocks and information. So if you tap on the clock style, you can modify the always on display clock style, which I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. But let's go to the lock screen over here. And from here, you get a preview of what it's going to look like after you make the modification. At the bottom, you can pick from all these different fancy clock styles. You can change the clock style, or you can tap on the color and change the actual color. Okay, so you've got the adaptive color that adapts to the background automatically, or you can pick any one of these preset colors, or even a solid color of your choice. So let's just pick a blue just to make it pronounced over here. So that's the blue color. And then if I go back to clock style, I can pick any one of these cool styles, click done. If you go back into the lock screen, boom, you've got a cool little clock right over here. So let's go back in here, go to the settings. I want to show you one more thing in the lock screen. If you tap on the lock screen, at the bottom you've got the face widgets. So if you tap this, you can enable up to 4 of these guys. So you got the music controller, today's schedule, next alarm, and the weather face widget. And of course, you can reorder these. Okay, so if you tap on reorder, you can move the one that you want to the top. All right, so it's all up to you. Let's just keep it like this for now. Let me go back here. Other thing you want to do is you want to change the contact information. So you don't have to have anything here, but what you can do is you can type in something like this, SockeyTech. And then when I go back into the lock screen, you'll see all the modifications that I made. It says SockeyTech at the bottom. If I swipe over, I've got the music controller. I've got the today's schedule. If there was anything going on, it would be listed right here. I've got the next alarm. And of course, I've got the actual weather widget. So that's absolutely fantastic. All right, let's lock this up and go right back in. The next thing I'm going to talk about has to do with your lock screen as well. So let's just cover the lock screen. Let's go back to the settings, go to the lock screen, and make sure that when you go down, it says app shortcuts. These are the 2 apps that show at the bottom of the lock screen that can be modified. So I can choose the left shortcut to be the calculator and the right shortcut to be the calendar. Okay, so when I go back into the lock screen, you'll see the calculator and the calendar, and I can swipe them up just like this to access them directly from my lock screen as a quick app. And of course, one more thing I want to talk about is this navigation bar at the bottom. You got the back button, the home button, and the recent apps button. So if I go into the settings, and if I go into the display, you can go into the navigation bar right over here, and from here you can customize the navigation bar. First and foremost, you can change the color. As you can see, pick any one of these colors that you want. The other thing you can do is you can hard press the home button. This button here actually can be hard pressed, okay, and it actually serves some functionality. The one thing that I like to do is I like to pick unlock with home button. So if you enable this, and if I go back to the lock screen, I can hard press the home button, and that's going to unlock the smartphone. Now this only works if you don't have a security enabled. All right, it's just a nice little feature. So go back to display, go back to the navigation bar, change color, and use the home button to unlock. And of course, you have the button layout over here. With the button layout, you tap this guy, and you can change the position of these 2 keys. They get swapped. Okay, so if I tap this, the back button goes here, the recent button goes here. It really is up to you which one is more comfortable for you guys. And finally, now as you can see, this navigation bar is always here. But if you disable this option, the black dot disappears. So if you enable this option, the black dot appears. That black dot is a pressable button. You have to double tap it, and what happens is the navigation bar disappears, and then you can bring it up like that. Let me just click this. The navigation bar disappears and gives you a full immersion of the screen. If you want to bring it back, you just go like this, and you can use it if you want. But let's go back to the settings. And you can also, what you can do is you can pull it up, double tap it, and lock it back in place. But if you don't like it, boom, boom, and it's gone. All right? Absolutely fantastic navigation bar tactics. Let's move on to the next tip. Now, one more thing I really, really like is if you go to the settings and if you go into the advanced features, you've got something that says fingerprint sensors, actually finger sensor gestures, I'm sorry. Enable this and then go inside. By the way, most of these menus have a disable or enable button here. And if you tap on this side, it goes into the details of that setting. So as you can see, what you can do is now I can use that fingerprint sensor. I can swipe down on it. It brings down the notifications panel. So let me show you what that looks like. I can go like this and it brings down notifications. Okay, swipe up, down, whatever. So if I swipe up, it goes up. If I swipe down, it comes down. All right, so that's an option you can enable from that finger gesture button in the advanced settings. Advanced features, finger sensor gestures right in here. Let me quickly talk about the always on display. If I turn off the phone, you'll see that there's going to be an always on display that shows up right here. This thing is fully customizable. So if I go back into the actual settings, go to the lock screen, over here, I have the always on display. Right now, it says it's available from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. I can disable that, so that's going to save me some battery. But if you like that fancy feature, you can have it enabled. You tap on it, and from here, what you can do is you can have a home button and a clock, meaning the home button shows at the bottom. You can have a clock, or you can just have a home button. Now, if I just pick a home button, when I go back to the always on display, all you'll see is this square at the bottom. That's the home button. I like to have it as a home button and a clock. And you can set a schedule for that always on display to always come on at. Okay? So in my case, I like to have it on, to be honest, at all times. So I don't even know why I have a schedule. Let's just say show always. So now it's available at all times. And of course, I can set the brightness for the always on display and just keep it at maximum. So you can also customize the always on display. So right now, this is what it looks like. Okay? So let's customize this for a minute. If you go back out, you go to the clock style. Instead of going to the lock screen, go to the always on display, and then you can again pick all these different fancy options for your always on display, including some animated GIFs if you want to add them. This one I like. Let's change the color. Let's pick a color that looks like this. Okay, two-tone color. Click done. Now if I turn off the phone and walk away, boom, you've got a beautiful looking always on display, a clock, date, your signature, the battery percentage, and notifications at the bottom. All right, that's the always on display. When you turn off your phone, if nothing is happening, it pops right up and it is fully customizable. Now back in the settings over here under display, what you can do is you can go to the status bar, okay, the status bar right here. And the status bar allows you to show the percentage of the battery over here. If you tap it, that disappears. If you tap it again, it comes right back up. And of course, you have this other option, show recent notifications only. So if you enable this, it's only going to show the most 3 recent notifications on the top here. So you're not going to see any more than 3 notifications on the top. If you disable this, this whole screen on the top, the status bar, can be filled with notifications. So that's what this is all about. And of course, while you're here, make sure to enable this option that says block accidental touches. So if the phone is in your pocket, in your bag, it's going to make sure that if you touch the screen by mistake, it's not going to do anything weird. It's not going to call some random person while you were randomly touching the screen. So make sure the block accidental touches is in fact enabled if you want it. All right, let's move on to the next tactic. The next tip has to do with your notifications. So if you go into the home screen settings, press and hold, go to home screen settings, go to app icon badges. You can just disable these or enable them, but if you tap on this side, it takes you into the detailed settings. So over here, what we have is we have show with number and show without number. So app icon badges give you notifications on an icon of the actual app. So if you have a text message, it's going to show up as a red circle, it's going to say 1. That means you have one new message. What you can do is you can change that so it only looks like a little clean circle for people that like minimalism, or if you want to know exactly how many notifications you have for a given app, you can just go like this, and that's going to give you the number, and it's not going to show anything beyond 99. So it's going to say 99 plus. So when you go back out and you get a text message, you'll either get a number or a small badge, a red dot on the top right over here. That is called the app icon badges. It's something you can disable, or it's something you can enable and then customize. All right. Now, one more thing you have here is at the bottom, it says show notifications. Make sure this is enabled. And what you can do then is when you press and hold on any app, if there's a new notification, it's going to give it to you at the bottom right over here. So that's going to work with the phone. So nobody has called me right now because the phone is just brand new. But if there was a missed call, it would show up at the bottom right here. So just press and hold on an application or an app icon, and you're going to get this menu. At the bottom, it's going to give you an actual notification. For example, a new message from Amy, a new message from Joe, something like that, or a missed call from father. All right? So in this section, I'm going to give you guys a full list of tips, tricks, and basically a full tutorial of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9's S Pen. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings, I'm going to go to the advanced features, and I'm going to go directly into the S Pen. And here is all the S Pen magic. Okay, so we're going to actually cover every single item here from top to all the way to the bottom. And of course, we're going to look at the Air Command menu, which is going to be a second part of this video. So I'm going to actually show you exactly what all these functions over here do for your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. And of course, what we're going to do is we are going to go back over here to advanced features, S Pen. And as you know, the S Pen on the Note 9 now has a brand new remote functionality. The remote functionality allows you to use your S Pen as a remote controller to actually control your Note 9 from a distance. So we are going to cover this menu separately towards the end of the video. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from here. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to go over the Air Command menu right over here. And then towards the end, I'm going to go into this menu where advanced features, S Pen, and S Pen remote, and cover all these features over here as well. So let's do it step by step, and let's start off with the basic stuff. So basically, screen off memo. Let's tap on this. You can turn this on or off, and what you can do is if your device is actually turned off, you can bring the S Pen close to the device, press the button, tap on the screen, and start taking quick notes on the screen while your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 is turned off. This is a great way to take notes on the go when you are in fact busy. You can quickly jot down a note or take somebody's phone number and just move on. Okay, so you don't have to actually turn on the device. You can just do it the way I did it. So that's the screen write memo. Now if you look at the screen write memos options, you can actually choose it to write in the color of the actual pen. So the pen is yellow, so it's going to use the S Pen signature color as its default color to take notes, as you just saw. If you don't want that, you can disable that, and when you do take a screen off memo, it's going to simply write in white color, and let me show you what that's going to look like. Again, you press the button, you tap on the screen, that launches the screen off memo, and now when you take a note, it's just going to be black and white. Okay, and I do prefer the yellow color, so that's an option that you do have. So let's go back in here, S Pen, and let's move on to Air View. So basically, Air View allows you to preview things simply by hovering the S Pen right over them. All right. So basically, if I go back in here, you can read everything that it can do. But let me show you. Let me give you an example. Let me go to the gallery. Let me go to the gallery. Let me go into this album. And as I hover, I don't have to touch the screen for this feature to work. I simply have to hover the S Pen over the screen. So when I hover it over one of these images, it's going to actually maximize that image, not completely, but a little bit. It's going to make it a larger preview. And from here, I can either look at it or I can just move the pen away and go to the next picture. And then what I can do is I have a bunch of options here. I can edit this picture, I can share this picture, or I can delete this picture. Now that's known as the Air View functionality. Now Air View also works with the calendar. If I go into the actual calendar over here, I can do Air View on the entries that I actually have, on the days that I have something actually going on. So if I hovered over one of the empty dates, nothing's going to happen. But if I hover over the 6th over here, looks like I have a Best Buy payment due. So that is the Air View. So you can either disable or enable that option. The next option over here is the direct pen input. Now before I show you this, guys, let me quickly talk about the pointer. So the pointer here, if you enable this, is simply a little pointer that you're going to see on the screen as the S Pen hovers over the screen. Now remember, I'm not touching the S Pen on the screen, I'm just letting it hover, and you'll see a little pointer that follows the tip of the actual S Pen. So that's the pointer. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't like it, so I disable this by default. Now let's go back to the direct pen input. So direct pen input is pretty amazing. So let me show you exactly what it does. Make sure it is enabled, and then let's just go to Chrome over here. And over here is a field into which I can normally type text. So when I tap on it, the keyboard comes up. What else I can do is I can hover the S Pen over this field and you'll see a blue icon pop up. If I tap on the blue icon, it's going to actually allow me to write instead of type using the keyboard. So let me delete all this, and as you can see, I can say www.google. Nope, well it finished, but you can see exactly what happened. So e.com. So if there's any field into which I can actually type in using the keyboard, I can also use the S Pen to have this window into which I can actually do handwriting. And everything that I do with handwriting converts into actual text, as you just saw. Now if I went back into text messages, and let's just go over right over here, I can do the same thing over here. You see the blue icon. If I tap on it, it brings this, and I can actually start using the S Pen and perform handwriting, and that's going to be converted into actual writing. So that's the direct pen input you can use anywhere where you can actually use the keyboard. Let's go right back in here. And the next feature I'm going to talk about, we already talked about the pointer, is I'm going to actually skip this. I'm going to come back to this when I talk about the Air command. Let's come over here and let's talk about the removal. So this one is when S Pen is removed. What happens? You have a couple options. So the S Pen goes into its little house over here. When you remove it, you can have it launch Air command automatically. You can have it launch a note into which you can start writing. Or the way I like it, do nothing. Because I like to pull it out and choose what I want to do manually. Another pretty amazing thing is this alarm here. So basically this alarm allows you to, if you enable this, and let's say you leave your S Pen here, and you grab your phone and you walk away. What's going to happen is your phone is going to alert you and let you know that you are leaving your S Pen behind. Go grab it, because you do not want to lose this guy. It's probably going to be $40 to $50 if you want to buy a replacement. So make sure the alarm is enabled in case you put the pen on the table, you grab your phone and you walk away. Okay? And this is not a big deal over here. Just keep it enabled. It's going to save you a little bit of battery, but not too much. And now let's go back. You've got sound, you've got vibration. So basically, do you want the S Pen to play a sound when you remove it from its house over here? Yes. So it's going to give you a nice little feedback, and of course it's going to give you a little vibration every time you insert the pen into its hole or remove it. So these are just for feedback. Alright, so we talked about all these options. We'll come back to this at the end of the video, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking about the Air command functions. Alright, so Air Command is this menu that comes up when you press the button on the S Pen while the S Pen is close to the screen. So you press the button and boom, you've got the Air Command menu. Now, first thing I'm going to tell you guys about the Air Command menu is you can go to the settings from here, to the S Pen settings right from here. So if you go to the settings, you've got the Air Command, and then you can create shortcuts. So if I tap on this, this allows me to customize the shortcuts that pop up when I press this button for the Air Command. Okay, so click Edit, and oops, go to the settings and go to the shortcuts. And I do want to let you know you can have a maximum of 10 shortcuts in your Air Command menu. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you try to add any more, it's going to say cannot add more than 10. So you can remove them by tapping this button, and you have a bunch of options. What you can do is you can add anything from S Pen features or apps and functions. So if you want to have S Pen features in the Air Command menu, you can do that. Additionally, you can add apps and functions. So I can have something like the Create Note and the calculator right here. When I go back out, oops, let's remove that. So right now I have two shortcuts in my Air Command menu. If I press the button, I get two shortcuts, Create a Note and Calculator. So that's what you can edit. So let's go back to settings, go over to the Air Command and click on this. And let's do it this way. Let's just add all the S Pen features, okay? Because I'm going to show you guys what these things are capable of doing. We don't need this one, so we'll add this one and we'll add this one, okay? So now we have all the S Pen features in the Air Command menu, so we can go over them one by one. Before we go in there, I'm going to show you one more thing. If I go back here, you'll see that there's a floating icon here. If I enable this, there's a little floating icon you can put anywhere on the screen, and what that allows you to do is instead of pressing the button over here, you can just tap on that icon, and it's also going to bring the Air Command menu. No matter where you are, it'll be sitting on the corner somewhere. If you put it here, it kind of becomes transparent, so that's nice, but it's always there for you to use. So I don't like to have this, so I'm going to disable this. What I like to do is I like to disable the floating icon, and if I do need the Air Command, I press the button and then it comes right up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the Air Command functions. So here's the Air Command. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create a Note, and that allows me to create a note, and I can start writing, and then I can save this and I can move on. Now all the notes that you save get saved in Samsung Notes. So here's the Samsung Notes, and here's all the notes that I've been taking. Okay, so they're going to show up right over here. So that's one thing. Number two, we have the Smart Select, which is a very powerful feature. So when you click this, you get a little, allow it, if it asks you, you get this menu. From here you can select parts of the screen and save it as a screenshot. Not only that, you can actually draw on it. So I can tap this and I can start drawing on it. Okay, I can crop it, share it, and save it any way I want. So let me exit this. I'm going to show you one more thing with the Smart Select. Let's go back out. So Smart Select, click on that. I can also use oval shapes or lasso. So with the oval, I can take a circular screenshot. And the great thing is, every time you take a screenshot, you get these two options on the top over here. One of them is the Extract Text feature. If I tap on this, it's going to extract all the text that it sees on that screen and will allow you to copy or share that text. Okay? Additionally, you can just save this as a screenshot and it's going to go into your gallery. So that's the Smart Select, allows you to select parts of the screen, of any screen in any app, and save it in any way that you want. Okay? You can even have this guy here and take a shape like this as a screenshot. So let's exit this over here, go back. Now let's move on to the next tactic. So this one is the Screen Write function. So this is basically a screenshot feature. If I tap it, it takes a screenshot, but then it allows me to use the pen to edit that screenshot. And of course, I can be anywhere. I can be in the Play Store, I can be in any app, I can be in the Maps application, and all I have to do is press that button, tap on Screen Write. It takes a screenshot, and then I can edit that and I can again crop it, share it, or save it as I desire. So that's the screen write feature. The next thing over here is the live message feature, which is pretty amazing. So if I tap on the live message, again, just allow it if it asks for that, you can write pretty amazing animated messages. So I can play this, okay? I can undo it. I can change the color. Let's pick red. Let's make it a little bit thinner. And let's pick a different style. So let's pick the, what is that? That's the glow. So I can say hi, and I can send this as a message to anybody. So as you can see, it's a glow hi. Now let me click, erase this real quick. Let's try one more. Let's try this one, sparkle. Okay, this one, the hearts. So when I'm ready to send this to somebody, I can click done. It is going to save that message as a GIF image, and then I can message this to anybody that I desire. And of course, because I'm able to use the S Pen, it's very easy to create some really precise drawings. Again, I can share this with anybody in any way that I desire. All right, so that's the live message. After the live message, what we have is we have the Bixby Vision. I'm going to skip that for now. Let me just talk about, I'm going to come back to translate in a minute. Let me talk about magnify. So if you tap on magnify, what happens is you get a little window here. You can move this window around, but in the window it says 150%. That means wherever I hover the S Pen, it's giving me 150% magnification. I can tap this guy again. I can do 200%. I can go all the way up to 250 and 300. So as you can see, it's getting bigger and bigger. So if I do 300, it's even bigger. Now I can move this window around, put it anywhere where it's convenient, and I can just exit out when I'm done. So that's the magnify feature. The next feature that I have over here is the glance feature, which is pretty amazing. With the glance feature, for it to work, you have to have some kind of app running in the background. So let me have the Chrome over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the glance application so I can tap it, and as you can see, the Chrome window just went down. So what I can do is I can glance at that window just like that. Okay, you hover over, it comes right up, you glance at it, and then when you move away, it goes away. This is great for research. So if I am in the Samsung Notes application, let's say I'm taking a note. Let's put this over here. Let's say I'm doing some research. I'm taking some notes, and I'm using the Chrome as a research tool. I can glance at an article or whatever, and then I can go away and continue my article, my own writing over here based on the article that I'm glancing at. Okay, so that's the glance feature. When you're done with the glance window, you just grab it and you remove it, and it's gone. All right, so that's the glance option. Let's go back into the PenUp. So PenUp is just an application designed for the S Pen. I'm not going to launch it, but if you do go inside, it allows you to do a lot of artwork if you're an artist, or maybe you just want to have some fun. But coloring is also a part of the PenUp. So if I tap on color, it's going to take me to the coloring section, and as you can see, you can do things like this. Okay, so it's a lot of fun. So you can start, you can either sign in, sign up, or you can start the coloring process without having to sign in or sign up. So if I tap this, I can start to color. I can do coloring just like this if I wanted to, or I can do it the other way, which is the bucket type, as you can see. Okay, so it's pretty fun to color these if you have the time and energy to do so. PenUp and coloring is almost the same thing. Now, Translate is an extremely powerful feature. Let me show you what it does. Let's go back to Google over here. Let's just type in google.com, and let's see, there's some words over here. Let me go to CNN.com, actually, CNN.com. I need a paragraph to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's say that I want to translate some of this stuff. So what I can do is I can tap, I accept. I can tap on the button, bring up the air command. I can tap on translate, and now I have this window. First, you want to pick a source language, which is going to be English, and then you want to pick a language that we're going to be translating to. And of course, this is backed by Google, so you have all these options. Let's just pick Turkish. And if I hover the S Pen over any one of these words, it's going to translate that word into Turkish. So from English to Turkish. If I want to actually translate an entire paragraph, I tap this button right here, and now I can hover here, and it's going to do a full translation of the actual paragraph from any language that you choose to any language that you choose. When you're done, exit out and you're done. So that was the last of the Air Command functions. Again, tap Settings, go to Shortcuts, and make sure you modify this according to your needs. Now the final thing, we're going to be talking about the S Pen remote functionality. So S Pen now has two different components. The first component is writing, sketching, Air Command, and all that good stuff. And the second component is the fact that you can use the S Pen and the button right over here as a remote control to use and control certain apps on your smartphone. So that remote control functionality is the Bluetooth functionality, and that is separate from everything else you can do on the actual Note 9 with the S Pen. So let me just clarify this. If I go into the Samsung Notes, and if I create a new note, and if I write something down, this has nothing to do with the Bluetooth functionality of the actual S Pen, and the S Pen does not need to get charged to perform writing or sketching. Additionally, if I just want to navigate my phone using the S Pen, again, it does not need to be charged. And also, if I use the Air Command menu of my smartphone, which is this guy, I do not need to charge the S Pen. I do not need to use the Bluetooth functionality of the S Pen. Okay? But if I want to actually use the S Pen as a remote control, then the S Pen needs to be charged. Now, how does it get charged? You simply put it back here into its case, and boom, within seconds, it goes to 100% charge, and after it is charged, it can be used for a good amount of time. Now, let me show you the settings. Let's go to the settings. Let's go to Advanced Features. Let's go to the S Pen features, and the only features that pertain to the S Pen's Bluetooth functionality are these guys right over here. So, for example, if I press and hold the button over here, it's going to open the camera. So let me show you that. Press and hold. Boom, the camera launches. That was the Bluetooth remote functionality. Also, I can tap on this one, and I can actually change what that holding of the button over here does. So just to give you an example, let's just choose a Create Note. Now if I press and hold, it's going to bring up the S note, and I can start to take a note. Okay, and I can then save it. So this option over here is the first customization option. From here, if you hold down the pen button, it is going to launch any app that you desire, any one of these apps over here. Okay, I do like the camera option, so let's just keep it at the camera. And with every single app, you have two options. For example, let's just take a look at the camera over here. It says single press takes a picture and double press switches the camera. So let me show you exactly how all of this is going to work together. If I press and hold, it's going to launch the camera. If I press it one time, it takes a photo remotely, so I can actually go away, walk away from the actual Note 9 with my S Pen and press a button, this button, from a distance, and it's going to take a photo. Now if I double tap this button, it actually switches over to the actual selfie camera, as you can see right here. If I double tap it again, it's going to flip over to the other, the rear facing camera. So those are the settings you can modify from here. So here what I can do is I can tap on this. At a single press, I can take a picture, switch camera, record a video, or do absolutely nothing. So I can disable all these options. I do like take picture option. If I double press, I have the options, the same options. I can take a picture, switch the camera, or record a video. So if I tap on this, now let's press and hold the S Pen, brings up the camera. One press takes a photo. Okay, there we go. One press took a photo. If I double tap, it's going to start to record an actual video, as you can see. All right, so that's how you modify S Pen's remote functionality, also known as the Bluetooth functionality. And if you scroll down, you've got the gallery. You've got the same things. You can single press to go to the next item. or double press to go to the previous item. Now let's take a look at that and how it works. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my gallery over here. I'm going to just go to one of the albums. Let's just tap on this picture. So basically what I can do is if I just single tap it, it's going to go to the next picture. So single tap, boom, next item, single tap, boom, next item, single tap, boom, next item. And if I double tap, it goes back. Okay, double tap, it goes back. And again, if I go into the actual settings, by the way, I can always go to the settings by bringing up the air command. If I tap, if I click on settings, I can go back into the S Pen remote settings from here. So if I'm here, again, I can change what I can do. I can do nothing, next, previous. Next, previous, do nothing. And I can also batch disable each one of these options. So if I do this, now the camera is not going to work with the S Pen remote anymore. Now as I use the S Pen, you'll notice that battery is going down. So the battery goes down pretty quickly. It can last 15 minutes to 30 minutes. It also is based on how many times you tap on it. So every time you tap on this button, it takes away battery. But the good news is, as soon as you put this back into the case here, within 15 seconds, it charges again for many more taps, clicks of the button. So it's not a big deal because we keep putting our S Pen back in the case all the time. And again, over here we have the shutter. So if I just tap this one time, it takes a picture. Let me tap again or do nothing. I can control my media. I can play pause using this on the music application. So if I tap this, I can play pause, I can skip to the next track, or I can do nothing. And same over here, I can modify this as well. So it's very simple. You pull out the S Pen and then you press and hold, and the pressing and holding function you set from here. So if I press and hold, it opens the camera right now. But like I said, you can pick any one of these apps. And then for each application that is supported for the S Pen remote, and you're going to have more and more of these apps show up over here, you can do two things. You can do a single press and a double press. All right? So that's absolutely fantastic. With the Chrome, if I enable Chrome, I can do a single press and it goes back. I can do a double press, it goes forward. Let me give you an example for that as well. Let's go to the Chrome over here. Now I am at google.com. Let me go into the Google Drive website. Let's click on this. So now I went forward into the Google Drive website. What I can do with the S Pen is if I single tap it, it's going to go back. If I double tap it, it's going to go forward. Okay, so that's how this one works. And also, while I'm using an application that is enabled to be used with the S Pen's remote functionality, I can hover over the air command icon here, and it does actually give me a quick preview of what the single press and the double press does. So single press back, it says, and double press forward. So that's what it is going to do when Chrome is actually enabled. Now if I tap on this one more time, the same thing is going to show at the bottom here. Okay, single press is back, double press is forward, and these are the S Pen actions for Chrome. The software knows exactly where you are. So if I go to the camera and I hover over this icon, okay, oops, I pressed it by mistake, but if I hover over it, you'll see the same thing. Single press, take a picture, double press, record a video, and if I tap on this button, you get the same options at the bottom. Okay, if I tap on it, same options at the bottom here. You can also modify them right from here. So I can modify it right from here if I so desire. The other thing is if I were to go outside to a regular non-S Pen remote area, and if I hover, it's not going to show that. Okay, so these options, now let me go back to Chrome, only show up when the S Pen remote can be used with the app that is running in the background. Okay, so another thing to be aware of. With the Handcom Office Editor, it's the same thing. If you're doing a presentation, you can go forward or backwards. So that is the S Pen remote functionality. Now there's a little bit more to this. One thing again I want to clarify is the S Pen remote has nothing to do with the rest of the S Pen functions, such as sketching, writing, or even this air command menu right over here that is very popular. And when you go into the S Pen remote, this battery percentage only pertains to the S Pen remote functions. Do not forget that. And of course, if you go to your quick toggles over here, you're going to see some options regarding the S Pen. One thing I want you guys to notice is the Bluetooth is disabled, and that's not a big deal because the S Pen remote Bluetooth functionality has its own little button right over here. If you disable this, now the S Pen remote is turned off. Now the S Pen is going to operate as if you have a Galaxy Note 8 without their Bluetooth functionalities. But I can always tap on this and it re-enables the S Pen remote. Okay. By the way, if you press and hold this, it goes directly into the S Pen remote options that we have seen earlier. And as you can see, it's saying disconnected. Every time you disable the S Pen remote option, it disconnects the S Pen. Now, even as the S Pen is disconnected, notice I can still use the air command and I can still create a note and I can still write, no problem. The only thing that has been disconnected is the actual remote functionality. If I put this back into the case, which I'm going to do right now, you'll notice that it's going to reconnect immediately. So it says connecting, available. Now when I remove this, S Pen functionality is going to be re-enabled. So that was the other thing over here. Remember, Bluetooth does not have to be enabled for this to work. Only this option has to be enabled. And of course, what you can do is you can tap on the button order. And then what you can do is you can take this S Pen remote and you can put it on the first screen next to Bluetooth maybe for easy access. All right, so click done. And now it's going to be quickly available right over here. It's the Note 9, so we do use the S Pen a lot. So it's good to have the options available for quick access. So basically, if you go to the settings of your smartphone, you'll notice that over here it says advanced features. And if you go inside, there's a full list of settings here to play with. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to cover all the other tactics here from top to bottom so you guys become an expert of your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So let's dive right in. Now the very first button here is called the accessories button. So when you connect certain Samsung accessories to your smartphone, you get a bunch of options. Now in this case, the fast wireless charging option is enabled. You can disable this. I don't know why you would do that. Make sure this one is in fact enabled, and this gives you fast wireless charging as opposed to the standard speeds that take hours to charge your phone wirelessly. So make sure this is in fact enabled. The next tip here is called the Smart Stay feature. So this one basically is a very useful trick, and it makes sure that your phone stays open as you stare at the phone. So the sensor on the top here knows that you're staring at the phone, so it's going to make sure that the screen remains on as long as you're staring at the screen. It's great if you're reading an article on a website and sometimes as you're reading it, the screen just locks down and then you have to re-log into your phone. Okay, so that's a good feature to have. Now I'm going to skip the games over here for a minute. I'm going to come right back to it. Now let's just talk about the one-handed mode. So one-handed mode has been around for a while and it's an amazing feature. Let's go inside, and again you can enable this. And you have a couple options to activate the one-handed mode. And again, one-handed mode is designed so your entire phone can be used with your thumb. Okay, so it's a large phone. If you don't have large hands, you're not going to be able to reach every area of the phone using one finger. So you can activate one-handed mode either using a gesture or a button. Now I like to use the button mode. So I'm going to go over here. And basically you tap the home button 3 times and boom, you get the one-handed mode. On top of having this mode, you can have a small size like this, or this is the smallest you can get, or if it's too small, you can increase the size a little bit to fit your own finger size. And then from here, you can use this phone as if it was, as if this area was the actual active phone. So if I pull down the notifications panel, it comes down from here, go up from here, and anytime I bring up the any kind of let's go over here, and if I tap on the keyboard, everything is going to be minimized. Okay, so when you're done with the one-handed mode, there's a couple ways to exit it, but one thing I'm going to show you guys is if you are in fact left-handed, this is the way you want it. But if you're right-handed, you want to right justify the screen, you tap on this guy, it goes to the right side. Okay, so you can be left or right using that arrow. And of course, you can go to the settings to play with the settings right over here. Or you can just tap over here and it goes back to normal. You tap outside the area of the one-handed mode, which is right here. All right, So that's one-handed mode. Let's go back into the advanced features and look at the next tactic. Now, finger sensor gestures are pretty amazing. Basically, you can use the fingerprint sensor to open or close notifications. Okay, so let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's a fingerprint sensor. If I pull this down, notifications panel comes right down. If I pull it up, it goes right up. Okay, there we go. Absolutely fantastic. Well, let's go right back into the advanced features. Let's go to advanced features and go down a little bit. So we've got the quick launch camera. This is a pretty simple one. If this is enabled, you can double tap the power button anytime from anywhere, even from the lock screen, to bring up the camera for a quick shot. So if I double tap this, boom, the camera gets launched. And even if the phone is locked, it's going to happen. So this is great if you're on the go, you see something you like, instead of unlocking your phone with a PIN number or your irises or your fingerprint, you just double tap the power button, it bypasses all security and launches the camera, and camera only. Then you take a shot and you move on. Let's scroll down, and then we have the device assistance app. If you tap this guy basically manages what's going to happen when you press and hold the home button. So in my case, if I press and hold the home button, it brings up the Google Assistant, as you can see. And you can talk to her, get some answers. But what you can do is you can go back in here, and you can actually go here and you can change that to something else. You can actually make sure you can actually use internet. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. It's going to mess a lot of settings up. But you can actually change this from Google Assistant to the actual Samsung internet, or you can say none. And if I press and hold this time, nothing happens. So everything here is can be disabled. Okay. Now this one is a multi-window options. Now there's a couple options in here that are pretty amazing. Now this one here has to do with multitasking. Now as you know, with multitasking, I can have two windows running side by side. I can have the settings app, for example, and I can have, let's just use the Chrome application. So I have two windows here. So I got two windows and I can actually work on both of these completely independently. So when you enable this option here, use recent buttons, you can actually change the current application from full screen to split screen. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me enable this and let me press and hold the recents button, and that's going to allow me to activate split screen multitasking without having to press this button here that I usually press. So I can go back into Chrome and now I got split screen multitasking. Now if I want to go back into the full screen, I can press and hold the recents button, and what it's going to do is going to take the top application and make it full screen. So the bottom application disappears. So press and hold, boom, bottom application is gone. Now again, normally when I want to do a split screen multitasking, I press these two rectangle buttons and that does the same thing. But with that recents button enabled, if I'm in an app, I can press and hold, that app gets goes to the top, and then at the bottom I can pick whatever I want. And again, if I want to get rid of it, boom, it's gone. All right, now let me go back in here. There's a couple things in here that you also want to know. Let's go to multi-window. You can go in here and you can actually do a snap window instead of the split screen view, which is also fine. So I can do it this way. Let me go to the settings, press and hold, boom, now I got the snap window. So I can snap any portion of this window to the top, and then at the bottom I can continue to multitask. Now that's the size you get with the snap window. All right, anyway, let's go back here, advanced features, multi-window. Let's go back here and keep it at split screen. That's the way I like it. And then you have the pop-up view action. Enable this, and with this one, if you go to the calculator application, for example, you can do the pop-up view, which is this thing right here, which is pretty damn amazing. You get this pop-up window. You can tap on this, you can minimize it, put it anywhere on the screen, do something else, and then use this on the side as a pop-up window. You can exit out or you can go full screen. Now most Samsung applications are supported for pop-up window. Let's go right back in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Smart Capture. So let's go inside. So Smart Capture allows you to modify your screenshot. So basically, if I take a screenshot using any method on my screen, on my phone, let's go home. Let's just take a screenshot using this button. I took a photo, and that's the Smart Capture. it allows me to draw on it. It disappears. You have to tap on it really quickly. Let me do one more time. So that's the Smart Capture options. I can tap on this and I can crop that image and everything and then save it that way. So if you disable Smart Capture, that's not going to work. So let me go back in, disable this. Now let me take a screenshot just of this screen. It saves this, it takes the shot and just saves it. You do not have the options to edit it. So enable this if you want extra options after you capture a screenshot. Next up, we have the palm swipe to capture. Now this is a very easy thing to do. Basically, you swipe your palm across the screen and it takes a screenshot. Okay, so it doesn't work all the time, but it's going to work. Just try it a couple times. Once you get a feel for it, it's going to be very easy. Do exactly as it's being shown over here, and it's going to take a screenshot, even though you have all these other ways to take screenshot on your smartphone. And then the next thing we have is direct call, one of my favorite features. When you have this on, if somebody is calling you, you have the option to answer. You swipe on the screen to take the call. What you can do with direct call is just bring the phone to your ear and boom, it actually answers the call. Okay, so instead of swiping to answer, just pick the phone up, put it to your ear like this picture here, like this animated GIF, and it's going to take the call. It's going to answer that call. And then we have the Smart Alert. Let's say that your phone was sitting on the desk and you were away and somebody called you or somebody sent you a text message. When you come back and you just pick up the phone, it's going to vibrate and it's going to give you an alert saying that you missed a notification. Could be a message, could be a phone call. It does alert you in a smart fashion so you can actually look into it and see what's going on. Okay, so again, just a very simple thing, but very useful. Let's go back in and let's go to Easy Mute, another one of my favorite features. Tap on this guy. Somebody's calling you. You want to just mute the phone. What you can do is you can just put the phone upside down on the screen with the screen facing the table, and it's going to mute that call or that alarm. Or you just put your finger on top, your hand on top of the screen, and that's going to mute or disable whatever notification that you're getting. Absolutely fantastic tactics. Then you've got the swipe to call or send messages. Now basically if you go to your contacts, let me just go to my contacts over here in my phone. Now you can see that I have a bunch of contacts here. If I want to call any one of these guys, I can swipe this way to send a text message or swipe this way to make the call. Okay, so swipe to send a message, swipe to actually make a call on any one of these contacts in my contacts. So that's that feature. You got the dual messenger option. Now this one allows you to run two of these apps. Any available app shows up here. So WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger. If you have two separate accounts, you can use two separate accounts on two separate WhatsApps, Facebooks, or Messengers. All right, so one could be for personal use and the other one could be for business use, and you can use this option. And then we have a couple other options here. We have the video enhancer. Make sure this is always enabled. It's going to enhance any video. So if you don't have this, the video looks a little bit dull. It still looks amazing on the screen, but with this, it just gets enhanced a little bit more. Okay, so make sure this one is enabled. I'm going to come back to these two in a second. Touch sensitivity. If you are using a screen protector on your smartphone, make sure the touch sensitivity has been increased so the phone doesn't miss any kind of touch input that you give to the screen. Then we have the send SOS messages. These are stress signals. If I go in here and if I enable this, what I can do is I do have to agree to all these terms after reading it. So agree, cancel that. Okay, whoops, there we go. Okay, so you have to add a recipient before you can enable this option. But after you enable this option, what you can do is you can tap the power button 3 times quickly to send a stress signal to a person that you choose. Like when I enable this, it's going to ask me to pick a contact. So you do have to add one emergency contact. After you do that, you can come back here and you can send a message by tapping 3 times the power key very quickly. Okay, so when you tap the power key 3 times, if you have these two options enabled, it will actually send an audio recording and a bunch of photos taken from the front and the back to that emergency contact, so that emergency contact has a few clues as to where you are perhaps. So this is great for real emergencies. And then finally, we've got the direct share option. If you do enable direct share option, this makes it easy to share files with other people that own Samsung devices. So if I go to my gallery, for example, and if I launch a photo, if I tap on share, what it's going to allow me to do, it's going to give me this option, share to device option. When I tap on this, it finds any available devices that accept this kind of input, and I can just tap it. It's going to send it to that device directly. Okay, and you can send large files very easily using this tactic. Let's go back into advanced features over here, and that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of things going on here. I did say I'm going to talk about the games mode. So if you go in here, you do have to enable the game launcher. When you enable the game launcher, you have a couple options here. You can go into your app settings, and what the game launcher does is it takes all the games that you have on your phone and groups them under this game launcher that looks really nice. So all the games are here. I can tap the game performance mode, and I can change the performance to power saving, balanced, or performance, meaning the games are going to look great. I can do a setting for each game if I wanted to. And of course, I've got a bunch of other things. I can discover more games from here. And I can actually change the sound of the game. The game volume will be muted, but your phone volume won't change, stuff like that. Just come and take a look at this, all right? So that is the game launcher under advanced settings. And that brings us to the end of all the advanced features on your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So let's dive in and get started right away. Now, the very first thing I want to talk about is called the direction lock. So your smartphone comes with a bunch of security features, but direction lock is actually hidden under a setting that is not immediately visible. So let's go to the settings. I want to show you exactly where it's at. Go to accessibility, and then go over to direction lock right inside and click on enable right over here. So let me show you exactly what this thing does. So let's enable this. As soon as you enable it, it's going to ask you to confirm your current PIN number. Let me put mine in here and click next. It goes right over. So basically, you're able to unlock your phone with a series of directions. They want you to pick a series of 6 or 8 directions. And of course, to keep it simple, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go left, right, left, right, left, right. And I'm going to keep it at 6, but you can do 8. Now, when you click continue, it's going to ask you to confirm that direction. So again, as you can see, and there we go, then click confirm. And then now the direction lock is in fact enabled. If I go into the lock screen, and if I go into the phone, it's going to ask me to draw the directions. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, we're right in. So that's the first feature I wanted to talk about. And of course, if you forget the directions, if you end up forgetting what you actually drew, just remember that you can bypass directions and just use your regular PIN to log into your phone. Because it is in fact a possibility that you will in fact forget the directions, but you do have that backup PIN number. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about has to do with camera, the next 2 tips. So the first thing, let's go to the camera. Let's go into the actual settings. Before I go to the settings, I'm just going to show you, if you want to take a picture with your camera, obviously you click this button here, and that takes a snapshot of whatever you're looking at. So that's very easy, very convenient. But sometimes you hold the phone a certain way, and it's hard to reach that button depending on how you're actually holding your phone. It has happened to me, has happened to a couple people I knew. So Samsung does have a nice little option that gives you a button that you can put anywhere on the screen. Okay, so let's go to the settings and let's scroll down just a little bit, actually all the way down. And here's something called the floating camera button. You click this, you go back into the camera, and now you have a second shutter button. This one stays right here. You can keep using this to take a photo. But this one here can be placed anywhere on the screen. And now you have a convenient button and you can place it anywhere to use any finger to take a photo. So boom, it just did the same thing this button over here does. So just a secondary button on the screen to take some shots. Now the other thing I want to talk about is also in the camera. Now this is something people have been asking me about. So if you go to the camera, if you scroll over, you've got the super slow motion option, which is a fantastic option. But if you scroll over more, there's also a regular slow motion option. Now this super slow motion limits how long you can record a video, okay? But if you go to actual slow motion, the regular slow motion, you can do slow motion videos the way you used to do it as long as you want. Now this by default is actually hidden. So you have to go to the settings. You have to, actually let me go to the regular just to have all the options available. By the way, if you're in a given mode and you tap on settings, it goes into the settings for that option. But let's go to the auto, and that's going to go into the settings for everything. So there we go. So what you want to do is you want to scroll down and you want to go to the edit camera modes. Tap on this guy, tap on rear camera, and make sure the regular slow motion right here is enabled. If you disable any one of these guys, they actually disappear from the camera options. So if I go back to the camera, now I got the auto, live focus, I got the professional mode, the panorama, but I don't have anything else. Again, if you scroll down here and you edit the camera modes, you can enable any one of these options or disable them. For example, I don't use panorama that often. I don't use live focus that often, but I do use these three. So now I have a really nice interface, simple and exactly the way I like it. All right, let's move on to the next tactic. Now the next feature has to do with the edge panels right over here. Let me increase the brightness. The edge panels right here. So what I like to do is I like to download an edge panel that gives me an amazing little option, and that's called the soft key edge function. So this gives you a bunch of buttons here. For example, it replicates all the buttons that are at the bottom. So you have the recents button right here. You can do the same thing here, recent. Okay. You've got the home button, takes you home. You've got the back button, takes you back. And of course, you've got the lock button that actually locks the screen. If I tap this, boom, instead of pressing the power button, it just locks the actual phone. All right, let me unlock this with direction lock. There we go. And finally, you've got this button here that says screen capture. It allows you to take a screenshot really quickly. So that's one way to take a screenshot. Now, you're not going to find it by default. So what you want to do is you want to bring up the edge screen, go to the settings, and it's going to be this thing right here. But if you don't have it, which is very normal because you do have to download it, tap on this guy, go to download. It's going to take you to the edge panel store, and then search for the soft key panel. Soft key edge. You download that, you install that, and that's going to show up right here in the S Pen functions, which is right here, and you just simply add it. It's going to be disabled. Just enable it, and boom, you've got the soft key edge panel, which gives you these fantastic little features. Now the next thing also has to do with the S Pen. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. If you go over here, let's just go to the Google again, the Chrome browser, and anytime you have a field into which you have to write something, normally what we do is we tap on that and the keyboard comes up, we start writing. Now you do have one more option because you've got the S Pen. You can actually perform handwriting. So what I can do is I can hover the pen over the area into which I can write. Then a blue button is going to pop up just like that. You tap on that button, and instead of the actual keyboard, it gives you a writing pad. So let me delete all this, and what I can do is I can basically start writing here. You're using handwriting, and it's going to actually convert everything as you can see. So that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I can type in GOO, even nasty handwriting like this gets converted flawlessly. Okay, so www.google.even.com can be added. So that is the S Pen feature that is very useful. Now, it might be disabled by default. Here's how you enable it. You go to settings. You go to advanced features, should be somewhere here. Advanced features, you go to S Pen, and you have to make sure that direct pen input is in fact enabled. Okay, so this option has to be enabled for this to work. Now I do want to let you know that if you're even in the messages application, you can hover the pen over the actual messages field, tap it. You can start to handwrite messages. So you can say, hi, how are you? It's just going to convert everything. You can use commas, okay, it's no problem. You can use dashes, no problem. Everything is going to work in this handwriting tool. Fantastic. Let's move on to the next tactic. Now the next tactic has to do with the S Pen. It's in the Air Command menu. It's a fantastic feature that a lot of people simply do not know about. So let me just bring up the Air Command menu. And the name of this feature is called Glance. Now I want to let you know, when you bring up the Air Command menu, if you don't see Glance, just tap on this settings icon and then go over to Air Command right here and go into shortcuts and make sure that you add Glance. So if it's not enabled, for example, it's going to be sitting right here under S Pen features, and if you tap on it, it's going to go into the actual Air Command menu, which is fully customizable. Anyway, let's go back to the Glance feature. So let me show you what the Glance feature does. Let me launch Google Chrome. Let me go into any website. As a matter of fact, let's just keep this website right here. So with Glance, what you can do is you bring up the application that you want to glance at first and foremost. Then you bring up the Air Command menu, and then what you do is you tap on Glance. When you tap on Glance like this, that application that I was looking at actually goes to the corner at the bottom and just hides there. So what I can do is, if I'm doing some kind of research or if I'm looking at something else, I can keep this at the bottom and I can keep glancing at it. So let's say I was researching or writing an article about this motorcycle here, the Honda CBR. What I can do is I can keep writing the article and also just glance at this article to get the information out from this website. When I pull the S Pen away, that thing goes down. When I hover the S Pen over this, it comes down. When I'm done glancing at anything, I can grab this and I can just remove it and it's gone. Okay? I can glance at other stuff as well. It doesn't have to be Chrome. You can glance at messages, WhatsApp, other internet browsers, and basically just try it, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't work, not a big deal. But Glance does work on many other apps. So that is the Glance feature in the Air Command menu. Let's move on to the next tactic. Alright, so let's move on to the next application. Now in this application, when somebody calls you, you get two buttons on the screen. One of them says answer, other one says decline. To take the call, you have to swipe to answer or swipe to decline. I don't like to swipe, I like to tap. So you do have the option to convert the swipe into a tap. What you want to do is you want to go to the settings, again go into the accessibility, scroll down and enable single tap mode. So this is going to work with any alert. So if you get an alarm, if you get any kind of alert or any incoming calls, you can use the single tap mode. So instead of swiping to answer a call or swiping to decline, you just tap on answer, takes the call. Tap on decline, declines the call. All right, fantastic. Let's move on. Now this next tactic is pretty advanced. So let me go into the settings. Again, go into accessibility. And then what I want you guys to do is go into dexterity and interaction and then go into the assistant menu. So with the assistant menu, basically enable this and boom, you've got a little menu, let's turn on, floating on the screen. I can tap this guy and it gives me a bunch of functions. So this is going to be anywhere on the screen, okay? So you can put it anywhere you want. You tap on it. Again, you've got access to Recent App button, which is the button right here. You've got access to the home button. You've got access to the back button. And you can even pull down the notifications panel by tapping this button right here, okay? Which is great. If I tap it again, it goes away. And of course, you can actually go to the next page and access even more settings, okay? Take a screenshot, boom. Get rid of that, go back here, number 2. You can go to the phone options from here, turn off the screen, restart, or emergency. So that's the power button, which becomes a soft key button. Instead of pressing it right over here, you can go here, tap on phone options, and you got these options, okay? So that is the assistant menu options. You can even control the volume from here, as you can see, fantastic. Minus, plus, whatever you need. And of course, if you go back into the actual settings of the assistant menu, you can modify them. So you got the assistant menu options. You can add or remove functionality such as brightness. If I want to add brightness, boom, it's right there. If I go back out, now I'm going to have a third page that has the brightness option. I can decrease or increase brightness or choose auto brightness. So that's the assistant menu. If you don't want it, you just turn it off. Okay, and you can also change the opacity so it's less visible, less intrusive, or you can make it really nice and bold. You got all these other options. I want you guys to come and take a look at it. No need to go into all the details. Now these are some gorgeous video wallpapers that you can set as your lock screen, which is going to add some spice to your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So let's dive in and discover how to use these video wallpapers. So if I go to my lock screen right now, let me turn off my phone and let me go to the lock screen by tapping this button. And as you can see, I have a gorgeous video wallpaper. Now if I tap on the screen just like this, the background disappears for a couple seconds just to give you a full view. And if I let it go, you can see that the background comes right back up. But you can see the entire video playing right through my lock screen, which looks absolutely gorgeous. When I unlock my phone, it goes straight to my actual wallpaper. The video wallpapers do not apply to the regular wallpapers on your phone when it is unlocked, but it does apply to the lock screen. So let me show you how to go and grab them and install them. So what you want to do is you want to press and hold on the main screen. Then you want to go to the wallpapers, which takes you into the wallpapers and themes store. And if you scroll all the way down, what you're going to see is something called a video lock screen. So when you tap this, it gives you a list of all the video wallpapers that you can download. Some of these guys are free. Some of them you have to pay a couple bucks for. But basically, when you are ready to download one of these, you just tap on it. And one more thing, if you do see a wallpaper, at the bottom corner on the right, it's going to say video. So that's how you know that's in fact a video wallpaper. And of course, another quick way to find the video wallpapers, if you do not see this thing at the bottom over here, is simply to go to search, type in video, and simply search for the video keyword, and that's going to bring a whole list of the video wallpapers available, as you can see. Okay, all these are video wallpapers. As you can see, it says at the bottom corner on the right, it says video. That means it is a video wallpaper. So you tap on one of these, and what you can do is you can in fact preview them before you download them to see exactly what it's going to look like. So here's the preview for this video wallpaper. Looks like this is purple glass with raindrops on it. Not too fancy. Let's take a look at this one. This looks a little bit more fancy. So that's exactly what you're going to see on your actual lock screen, this video wallpaper. And you can also do this. So when you're ready, you just tap on it and you download it. Once you download your video wallpapers, what happens is they get dumped into the top under My Wallpapers. So when you click View All, you'll see them listed all over the place. Again, at the bottom corner on the right, it's going to say video, video, and that's how you distinguish between video wallpapers and regular wallpapers. And even Samsung's own Infinity wallpapers are over here too. So if you go up, you'll see that some of these things say Infinity. Those are animated wallpapers that come with the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. But these guys over here are video wallpapers. So basically, here's one example. So that's one wallpaper. That's exactly what it's going to look like when you set this to be your wallpaper. And then the other one here is the one that I do have, the Grand Canyon. And this one over here is with some cat for cat lovers. And then you have this one over here, again, beautiful natural video wallpapers that you can add to your lock screen. So again, in this screen, you can preview all your video wallpapers as you can see. When you're ready to apply one of these, you just tap this and you click Set as Wallpaper. Okay, so it says wallpaper applied to lock screen. If you lock the phone and go back into the actual lock screen, you'll see that video wallpaper. Again, if you tap on the screen a little bit, it disappears for a couple seconds to give you a full view. If you let it go, it comes right back. Okay, and when you're ready, you just swipe up and it unlocks the smartphone. And of course, if you do have a PIN number, it's going to go to the PIN unlock screen. All right, so those are the video wallpapers, and they're absolutely fantastic. The edge panels are a bunch of side screens that you can access and customize to maximize your Note 9 ownership. The level of options and customization here is incredible, and I want you guys to master it all. So let's dive in and discover. Alright, so the very first thing I want you guys to do is to make sure that the edge panels are in fact enabled so you can follow this tutorial. So what you want to do is you want to go to the settings, you want to go to the display, scroll down till you see the edge screen, you tap on it, and make sure that the edge panels are in fact enabled. And of course what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and talk about the edge lighting as well. But first let me cover the edge panels, then I'm going to come back to edge lighting. So once you enable the edge panels, they should be sitting on a side screen somewhere around the edges of your device. It could be on the left or the right. In my case it is on the right, and I can pull it right in, and that's known as an edge panel. And as you can see, this is the calculator panel. And then I can have even more edge panels. I've got some. Here's the app shortcut panel. Here is the smart select panel. And here's the device maintenance panel. And of course, we have a bunch of weather panels and quick tools such as a compass or things like this. You got a tally counter, you got a flashlight, you've got a surface level meter, and you have the ruler. Okay. So what I'm going to show you guys is how to fully customize the edge panels. There's two ways to go into the settings. The first way I showed you guys, tap on settings, go to display, go into the edge screen, and then tap on the edge panels, and that's going to allow you to add or remove an edge panel from your edge screen over here. Now as you can see right now, I have the calculator panel, the apps edge panel, the smart select panel, the device maintenance, weather, and quick tools. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. And just so you know, you can have up to 9 maximum panels over here. Okay, so you cannot have more than 9 panels sitting over here. So that's the maximum 9. And basically what you want to do, you can also go to the settings right from here. So when you pull the edge panels in, you can tap on settings, goes into the same settings we just came. And if you want to remove a panel, you simply uncheck the panel that you do not need. All right, so that's one way to customize. You can add or remove panels from your edge screen. Now the other important thing is maybe you don't like the order here, so you want to actually rearrange your panels. You can actually do that. What you want to do is tap on this button here, tap on reorder, and that's going to bring all the active panels in front of you. And all you do is, for example, if you want the weather panel to be at the first position, you just move this and drag and drop it and put it in the first position. Now when I go back out and pull this in, you'll see that the weather panel is now in the first position. So that's how you reorder, remove, and add panels. And one more thing you can do is, as you can see, there's a bunch of panels here for you guys to use. There's actually an edge panel store that you can go into and download even more panels and add more customization to your edge screen. So what you want to do is you want to tap on this button here, and what you can do is you can go to the download option, and then you have the option to download all these fancy, fantastic panels right over here. And as you can see, there's so many of these, and they keep getting added all the time. So you have so many options to customize. You can have some paid panels, and you can have some free panels, and you can have some new panels. Now let me go to the free panels, and let me just say I want to download the to-do list panel. I tap on it, I tap on install. After the installation is complete, I go right back, and now when I go back into my edge screen customization panel, from here, let's go to the settings. You'll see that the newly downloaded panel is right here, and you can add this to your edge panel as well. So go get more if you need to do so. I also want to show you something really quick. This is a really nice feature. If you pull in the edge panels over here, this is the first view. So this is the side-by-side panel view. You have to swipe over to go to the next panel. If you want a quick access to a panel and don't want to swipe all the way to the end to find that panel, you can just press this button here, these 3 lines, and that's going to give you a preview of all your edge panels. And from here, you can access the one that you want immediately. So if you want the weather, boom, you got the weather. If you want to do a quick calculation, boom, you've got a calculator. All right. So that's how you switch easily between panels. Let me go back to the settings. I'm going to show you one more thing. Now, as you know, my current edge panel handle is right here. That allows me to pull in the actual panels. So this thing is called the edge handle. What you want to do is you want to tap on this button here and tap on edge panel handle, and that allows you to actually move this panel up and down or left and right. So I can have it on this side or I can have it on this side. And also I can change the size of it. I can make it even bigger, and I can also make it invisible or fully visible. So low transparency and high transparency. You don't even see it if you don't want it taking your screen real estate. It's still going to work even when it is invisible, but if you do want to see it a little bit, you can go like this, middle or maximum. Okay, so again, you can move this anywhere that you want. I think it's convenient for me to have it on this side. I don't like it too big, so I'm going to keep it a little bit smaller. And then you also have this option. This option says move from any screen. So that means you can touch and hold this panel and move it anywhere you want from any screen. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Just for demonstration, let me put this on this side. Let's go back out. And now the panel is here, and I can pull it right in. And move from any screen means I can press and hold, and now I can move this guy. The only thing I cannot do is I cannot resize, but I could go like this and boom, it's on this side now, okay? So that's fantastic. One more thing I'm going to show you guys is, if you do have a panel here that you do not need, you could uninstall them. So tap this, tap on uninstall, and choose the ones that you want to remove. Some of these guys come with a system, so you cannot remove them, but the ones that you download from the store can be uninstalled as you please if it's taking too much space. Alright, so make sure you go to the store and look at all the other available options. There's really some really neat panels here. For example, in my case, I've got the calculator panel downloaded for quick calculations. The other thing that I like over here is this one, the Smart Select option, that allows you to actually take screenshots in any way that you please. So if I tap this guy, I can take a screenshot of the screen in any app, anywhere, website, you know, whatever you want to do, and you can take a screenshot. You can click done, and you can share that with your friends, or you can actually draw on it, or you can actually crop it. Okay, so panels like these are pretty cool. Other panels that you have a couple games you can download, quick games to kill time. But one of my favorite panels is this one. If you go to download, it's something that I'd recommend that you download just in case. It should be somewhere over here. Okay, it's called the Softkey Edge panel. Let's download that really quick. I'm going to show you exactly what it does. It gives you software buttons replacing your hardware buttons. Okay, and also it allows you to replicate these buttons over here. So it's been installed. Let's go back. Let's activate that really quick. Go Edge panels, activation. Go back out. Pull this in, and let me just go to that panel. Boom! It's right here. So from here I can go to the home. Okay. What else I can do is I can go back. I can do a screen capture that takes a screenshot. And of course, what I can do is I can launch the recent apps button. And finally, I can lock the phone. Boom, the phone is locked. Okay, so you don't have to press the button. You can just tap on lock and the phone gets locked. So that's one Edge panel that I do recommend that you guys download. Now let's move on. We already mastered the panels here. You know how to add, remove, uninstall, install, quick view, and all that good stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the settings, but instead of going to the Edge panel settings, I want you guys to go into the Edge screen settings, and you remember how we got here. And let's look at the Edge lighting option, which is pretty fantastic. So let's go inside. You can turn off the option here, but if you press on the left side, it goes into the detailed settings. So Edge lighting is actually an effect that you get when you get a notification from a given app. So let me show you what that looks like. First and foremost, you have to pick the effect. Do you want to see edge lighting when the screen is on, off, or always? I keep it at always. And then here's the lighting style effect. And of course, here's the apps that you can use with the Edge lighting. And of course, you can use any app that you want. Right now, Messages, WhatsApp is enabled. I can enable this for any app that I want, Best Buy. You don't need it for calculator, calendar, whatever. So here's what happens. When somebody sends you a message, you get a nice lighting effect around the edges of the screen. The good thing is you can customize the intensity and the color of the effect and even the style of the effect. So pick the effect. You can do the multicolor effect. You can do the glow effect. Okay, and let me change the color a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Let's do red so it's more pronounced. And let's also change the transparency of the effect. So you want the high or low. So high means you barely see it. Low means you see the whole thing. And of course you can change the size of it. So I can do it wide. Okay. Now if I click apply and I go back in here, you can see that it's a wide glow effect. So if somebody sends you a text message, or if somebody sends you or if you get a calendar update, you'll see this nice effect. And you can change the color as preset colors over here, or pick any color that you want. Could be green. Okay. You can change the effect. You can do the glitter effect. You can do the glow effect. You can do the multicolor effect, and you can do the basic effect. And like I said, let's go back. It will apply to only the apps that you pick and choose over here, or you can just go nuts and say all available apps, and then you will get lighting notifications, the Edge lighting notifications for any app that you desire. Alrighty, so those are the Edge functions on your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. I want to show you how to manage the battery on your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 using the built-in software features of your Note 9. Now the Note 9 has a massive 4000 mAh battery capacity, so after a full charge it does an excellent job of lasting you a full day. However, even then, based on circumstances, based on your lifestyle, it's good to know how to manage your battery life and be aware of all the features of your smartphone. So let's dive in and discover. So here's what you want to do. You want to go to the settings and you want to go into the device maintenance, and then from here what you want to do is you want to go into the actual battery. You tap on that. By the way, you can ignore this one right here, but if you do ever see a message under the battery such as this one where it says 1 and it says fix now, simply tap on fix now and it's going to actually fix any battery draining problems that might be happening in the background. So in this case what happened was it found one battery draining app that was running in the background, and it wants you to put this one to sleep to save power. So one way to check, one way to fix and optimize your battery is actually going into the device maintenance and looking for any messages under battery, and if you see any problems, just tap on that fix button and it's going to take care of any underlying problems that you may not see directly. Beyond that, what you want to do is you want to go to the battery, and from here what you have is a power savings mode. Now right now, as you can see, the power saving mode is off, but you also have an option to enable a mid power savings mode. Okay, and you also have the option to enable a maximum power savings mode. Now if you look at the bottom here, it says under mid, it says 1 day and 10 hours. So basically with the power savings mode off, you have 1 day and 3 hours of battery life based on your current battery usage. With the medium power savings mode, if you tap this and just click apply, you're going to get 1 day and 10 hours of battery life. And if you actually go to the maximum power savings mode, you're going to have 4 days of battery life, which is crazy. So if I tap on this guy here, you can see the same thing over here. It's going to add 2 days and 24 hours of battery life to the existing 1 day and 3 hours, which is going to end up being 4 days of maximum battery life. Now before I dive into the actual medium power savings mode, which is something you'll be using more often than the maximum one, let me show you what the maximum actually does to your phone. So basically, let's say that you're stranded, you're in the middle of nowhere, you only have 10% battery life, but you still have to do some phone calling and do some text messaging to survive. That's the kind of scenario in which the maximum power saving mode comes in handy. So let's show you exactly what it does. So you tap on this guy. There's no customization options other than the always on display and the background network usage option. So make sure if these are enabled, make sure to actually disable them. These are just battery draining processes. So you want to disable this and this, and then click apply and see what happens. So when you click apply, your phone is going to actually transform into a black and white phone. It's going to disable all the fancy features of the actual smartphone. And it's going to just give you the bare minimum stuff that you need to survive, such as text messaging, phone calling, and other stuff like the internet, basic web browsing. you can have access to settings, but it's going to be a minimized settings option. Okay, you can add a couple apps here. If you tap on this one, I can add things like the calculator. I can add things like the calendar, maybe the camera for a couple quick shots and stuff like that. You can customize all this. WhatsApp, for example. So these are just basic things. You're not really allowed to watch movies, play games in this mode, and that's why even with 61% of battery, you're able to run this phone for 4 days as long as you stick to the basics. Now, once you're done with the maximum power savings mode, you tap on this icon, you turn it off, it takes you right back into your full battery mode. Let's give it a couple seconds here, and there we go. Now let's go back into that setting. Let's go back into device maintenance. Let's go back into the battery. And then what I want to take a look at is the medium power savings mode. Now let's get rid of that. The one thing I want to show you at the bottom here is this is the app power monitor. Now this monitors all these apps to make sure these apps are not draining any battery. If you don't want this option, you can just disable the given app. So if you want to use the Twitter app freely, you can just disable that so it's not going to be monitored. But it's good to monitor it, and if something crazy happens, you can tap on save power and it's going to perform some duties to actually save you some extra power battery. Now let's go to the medium power savings mode. I'm going to show you something you can do here. So when you tap this, by default you have a bunch of options. All these options are customizable. So you can enable the background network usage, you can enable the always on display, you can enable or disable the speed limiter. In this case, by default it is enabled. So if you enable this, it's going to actually limit the power of your processor, and that of course saves you some battery life. And if you look over here, it says decrease the brightness. So it decreases the brightness of your smartphone's display by 10%. You can actually adjust this. You can do 5% or none. 10 is the maximum allowed. And of course the screen resolution goes from whatever you have to full high definition plus. So the WQHD is the highest definition. Full HD plus is the medium, and HD plus is the lowest resolution. The lower the resolution, the more battery that you're going to save. So once you're done with all this, I do recommend allowing the background network usage, and also you could turn this off. And with these options, you have 6 hours of extra battery life. But watch what happens if I actually enable these. This goes down. So if you enable the always on display, you lose 4 hours of battery life. So that's a big battery eater. Okay, so look, take a look at over there. Disabled 6 hours and 43 minutes. Enabled 2 hours and 41 minutes. With the background usage, if you enable this, again 2 hours and 9 minutes. Okay. So you're losing approximately 30 minutes. So if I do this, 6 hours, 11 minutes. If I do this, 6 hours, 43 minutes. So this is going to be disabled. This is going to be disabled. These can be enabled. If you disable this one, not a big difference, but the CPU always runs at maximum performance. So if you enable it, you get some extra battery life. Same with these guys. Now when you're ready, you click apply. And then the phone is going to apply those settings, and it's going to give you an up-to-date battery life expectancy over here. And also you can touch this button here, and it takes you into the detailed use of your battery. So if you scroll all the way down, it'll show you what apps are using most of your battery. And from here, you can make some decisions. You can look at the Best Buy application, and you can see it's only doing 1%, not a big deal. My screen the screen is actually taking most of my battery life, which is at 8%, which also means that if you reduce the brightness of the screen, it's going to eat less battery. So again, if you go back out here and if you tap on the battery usage icon, it gives you details on which app is eating most of your battery life. And then you have a button here. From here, you can optimize battery usage. You can refresh this entire screen. But that's basically it. So you've got the maximum savings mode. When you're stranded, you have access to nothing, but you have to maximize your life, battery life as much as possible. Then you go with this guy. Okay? No playing games, no watching videos. If you just want to increase the battery life, maybe you have 50% left and you're scared it's not going to last you for a given period of time, then you go with the medium power savings mode and you customize it, and you look at that button here at the bottom, which gives you an estimate of how much more battery life you're going to be getting. Okay, so again, if you press any one of these guys, that number changes. So that's that, and then you can turn it off. When you turn it off, everything is maximized. Now, in relation to the battery, I just want to show you one more thing. If you go back into the settings, if you do go to the display, obviously the brightness, make sure that you keep this as little as possible. So if you don't need a bright screen, just reduce the brightness because that eats the most of the battery. The other thing you want to do is you want to go to the screen resolution, and I highly recommend that you keep it in the middle. So high definition plus is a low resolution. You don't want that on a phone like this, but this is a respectable resolution. This is acceptable. But if you want the full glory of every little sharpness, every little detail, you can enable this and then click done, and that's going to change the screen resolution. But I do recommend that you keep it over here. You're not going to see a big difference, and you are going to save some battery. Okay, so that's the battery management features built into your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So in this section, I would like to talk about a powerful feature on Samsung Galaxy Note 9 that I have come to love and use quite often. This is a software feature and it pertains to security, and it is called the Secure Folder. Basically, it is a private environment that is locked down with a password or your fingerprint or your irises, inside which you can store private photos, documents, videos, files, and more away from prying eyes. If you're not already using it, you're gonna love it. So let's dive in and take a look at what I'm talking about. And of course, if you do use Instagram or Twitter, make sure to follow me on both at Saki Tech Online. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do is you want to actually go and set up the Secure Folder if you have not already done so. So there's two ways to access Secure Folder to get it rolling. The first way is if you go into your app drawer, and if you tap on Samsung, it's going to say Secure Folder. You can just tap on that and it's going to start the process. The other way is if you go to the settings, and if you go to Biometrics and Security, at the bottom here, you're going to see Secure Folder. So whether you tap this or you tap this, you're going to start the process to set up the Secure Folder. So let's do that together. Let me just tap on Secure Folder, and as you can see, you get the introductory screen, and from here it's saying protect your data, and it's giving you a description. Let's just click next for a minute, and with Secure Folder it is telling you that you can make secure copies of your actual applications. So let's click start, and the first thing you want to do is you want to actually sign in to your Samsung account. So in my case, all it wants me to do is confirm it. So confirm that. And then they want you to pick a PIN number, a password, or a pattern lock for your Secure Folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a PIN. And also you have the option to enable fingerprints and irises to unlock your Secure Folder. So basically you're going to have three options. You can use one of these password styles, and then you can have fingerprints and irises. Now, one thing with the PIN number or the password is you don't have to use the same PIN number you use to unlock your smartphone for the Secure Folder. You can pick an entirely different PIN number just for the Secure Folder. So let's do that right now. Let me just pick something simple for demonstration. There we go. And click OK. So we are creating the Secure Folder right now. Samsung is setting it up. Takes a couple seconds here, and then we're going to be in business. Okay, so the process is complete and it dropped us into the Secure Folder folder. So let me show you what this looks like. Let me just exit this. I'm going to show you how to go right inside it again. So what you want to do is you want to go back into the app drawer. You're going to tap on Samsung and you want to go into the Secure Folder. Now when I tapped Secure Folder, as you can see, it did not ask me for a password. So I do want you guys to set that up for maximum security right away. So go to the settings of the Secure Folder, and then over here it says Auto Lock Secure Folder. You tap on this and make sure you choose immediately. Okay, I want to make sure everything is in fact secure. Now when I exit the Secure Folder, and if I try to go back inside it, it's going to ask me for the PIN number immediately, and that is the security that you want. So tap 0000, click OK, and now we are in the Secure Folder. Now what I'm going to show you guys is how to transfer photos, videos, notes, and stuff like that into the secure folder so they get locked down. Alright, so let me go and launch the gallery from the regular phone. I'm out of the secure folder. So everything I do outside of the secure folder is public, okay? So everybody can see it. So let's go inside, tap on gallery, and here's a couple photos that I want to hide. So let's say that I want to hide the photos here with the keys. All you do is select that photo, and then once you enable the secure folder, when you tap this icon, at the bottom it's going to say move to secure folder. So when you click that, it's going to take that photo, it's going to send it to the secure folder after you put your password in. So let me put the password in that I set up for secure folder, click OK, and it's saying moving items to secure folder, and that photo is gone. So anybody, anytime somebody comes in and launches the gallery from the regular phone, from the public area, it's not going to show that picture. So that picture now actually hides in the gallery application under the secured folder. So to access it, I'm going to go up here, go back into Samsung, and tap on the secure folder. Of course, it's going to ask me for a password. That's the whole point. You put the password in, click OK, and then you go to the gallery, and boom, the pictures are sitting right over here. You can click allow on this one. So these are the pictures that I hid, and people are unable to see them. If you exit the secure folder, go to the gallery, you're not going to see it here. You have to go to the secure folder, tap on this guy, put your password in, and then you'll see that photo. Now, what if I want to put that photo back outside into the non-secure area? Again, all I do is select the picture inside the secure folder. Okay, so I click this, right click, and I can actually say move out of secure folder, so you can move things into the secure folder or out of secure folder, no problem. Now, one more amazing thing with the secure folder is that everything that you do inside the secure folder stays in the secure folder. So if I tap on the secure folder, go right inside it, and if I launch the camera from the secure folder right now and take a photo, let me just cancel that for a minute, take a photo, it's going to take the photo, okay? But what's going to happen is, because I launched the camera application from within secure folder, whatever photos it takes are going to save into the secure gallery right here. So this photo is not available in the public area, but because I use the camera in the secure folder, it saves the picture directly into the secured gallery, which is very smart. I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to go into my Samsung Notes. I'm going to show you how to secure actual notes. So if you go to your Samsung Notes from the public area, now as you can see, I have a bunch of notes over here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all public. So if I know the regular PIN number to unlock the phone, I can access these. But if I go into the secure folder, these are not going to be there, because these are public files. So if I go to Samsung Notes, it's empty. What I can do is I can create a note inside the secure folder that's going to be secure away from the prying eyes. This is secure, okay? So let's, on the title, just put invisible, click save. Now, if you look over here, we have one note within the Samsung Notes under the secure folder that says invisible. If I exit and if I go to the regular Samsung Notes, it's not going to be here, of course, because it has been secured. Okay, so I'm assuming by now you get the point very precisely. So let's go back here just to verify. Go to Samsung Notes. Boom, you've got the invisible note right in here. Now the same thing can be done with the calendar, contacts, email, camera, internet, and Samsung Notes, of course, and of course My Files. Now this is important, so I'm going to show it to you really quick. If you go into the My Files, there's nothing here. It's completely empty. This is the secure version of the My Files. The non-secure version is again here in this Samsung folder. Or if you can't find it, just search it right here at the search phone option. But if you go to the My Files here, all your files are going to be here. Okay, so if I go into my audio, and if I want to secure any one of these photos, let's say go to this music here, just an example. If I want to secure this track, I can press and hold. I can go over here and I can say move to secure folder. So this music is going to disappear and it's going to go directly into the secure folder, and then I can access that file from the My Files inside the secure folder. which is absolutely fantastic. All right, by now you get the point of the secure folder. So let me go back in there. I'm going to show you a couple other things that are very important. Let's go in. We're going to look at these options here. But before that, you can add more applications. You can tap this button to just lock the secure folder automatically. So when you go back in, you have to put your password in. So you can add more apps. Basically, you can create secure copies of apps that will get dumped right here. So anytime you do anything on those apps, everything that you do stays inside here. So if you add your text messages application over here, you can text anybody that you want under the secure folder, and nobody's going to see that under the regular text over here when they tap on this one. And of course, you can add files from here directly if you so desire, using any one of these options here: My Files, Images, Videos, Audio, Documents, whatever. And you can also edit the applications, meaning you can delete or uninstall applications from the actual secure folder. Now, here's one thing that I like to do. When you have a name like the secure folder, everybody's going to want to tap on it and go inside it. So what I do is I go into the settings. Well, go to the customize icon. You can pick any icon that you want, something that doesn't look very suspicious like this one. It has a key on it. So you can pick this, you can pick this, you can pick this, whatever, right? And what you can do is you can change the name of the secure folder. I put it something like finance. So finance by default means security. So if somebody taps on finance, they're not going to even bother putting a password in, because they know it's about money and they just walk away. But if it says secure folder or secret files, then somebody's going to want to tap it. But when I click apply, the name of the folder changes. So if I go here, go to the Samsung, it says finance, and it's got a pig icon right on top of it. Okay, so tap on this one. It's the same exact thing, just a different look. So make sure that you customize the icon for the secure folder, and of course the name. Okay, let me just say secret files for now, and then pick this icon just so I don't get confused here. And that's one thing. Other things you can do: go to the settings, make sure you pick a lock type, and this is very important. Make sure this is set to immediately. So the moment you tap the home button or exit the secure folder, it gets locked down. Other things you can do is you can actually set to receive notifications from your secure folder apps if you so desire right here. And then what else we have here is it says show secure folder. I can actually hide this. Okay, so hide it. Now it's not going to even be shown. So that's maximum security, but then you might forget where the damn thing is. So what you want to do if this happens is you can always go to the settings. Okay, you can go over to biometrics and security, and then you can actually find the secure folder right here. You tap on it, put the password in. It's going to take you into the settings and just say show secure folder. Now if you go back there, it's going to be back in business. Actually, when you go back in here, it may not be here, but it will be in your app drawer somewhere right here, secret files. Okay, so let me put that in. Go back into the settings, and then you have the apps you want to put in here. You have the accounts. You can do a backup and restore to your Samsung Cloud if you so desired. So you can actually back up your secured folder to Samsung Cloud if you feel comfortable. Okay, that's an option you have. And then later you can restore it to another phone that you purchased. Of course, it has to be a Samsung phone. And of course, there's a bunch of other options here that you can play with. But then always come here and make sure secure folder is up to date. As you can see, it says the latest version is already installed. And that's basically everything that you guys need to know about the secure folder. It's a fantastic application. The great thing with this one is because it is built into the Samsung's system, it's never going to be uninstalled. With other security apps, when you download them from the App Store, they give you password protection. But when somebody uninstalls that app, that protection disappears. With this one, you can never uninstall the secure folder, so it is a fully secured environment. It's absolutely fantastic. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, just drop them down below and somebody or myself will answer them. So in this section, I want to talk about the Bixby 2.0 on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So fundamentally, Bixby hasn't changed much. but there has been a change to its interface, and also it is now better at recognizing your voice and responds with a more natural voice. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clarify the interface of Bixby 2.0. Now the first thing that you have is if you pinch the screen and if you scroll over, Bixby Home can be enabled or it can be disabled. Now if you enable it, it's going to reside on a side screen. When you swipe over, it's going to go into the Bixby Home. Now Bixby Home is just a bunch of cards that give you updates, okay? And it could be Facebook updates, it could be Twitter updates, it could be reminders, it could be anything that you actually add into it. You would have a music controller here, and of course things like weather. So it's a nice little interface. It is not laggy. It is pretty smooth. So this is Bixby Home. Now when you tap on the icon here, the settings icon, you can go into the settings. Now when you go to this settings, it takes you straight into Bixby Home settings, from where you can access your Samsung account. You can access the cards. Now the cards are these. So each one of these things is a card. For example, this is the weather card. So if I go to the settings over here, and if I tap on cards, you can download, enable, or disable cards from here. So you have CNN card, Facebook card, Spotify, Twitter, Uber, video, and then you have all these ones that are already installed that can be enabled or disabled. Now if you go down, you'll see that the weather one is enabled, YouTube is enabled, Twitter is enabled, and all that good stuff. So again, if you go back, let's just go to the home. If you swipe over, you go to Bixby Home. That feeds you a bunch of cards that you choose to elect from the settings menu. Now that's not the only thing that Bixby does. Bixby can do much more. You can talk into Bixby. You can have it modify settings in your smartphone. You can have it control applications and much more. Now let me give you a quick example. So basically I can say, "Hi Bixby, change the screen timeout to 2 minutes."
Screen timeout is set to 2 minutes.
So what Bixby did was it went into the settings and modified a setting that I would have done this way. So I would have gone to the settings, I would have gone to the display, I would have scrolled down, and I would have went over here to screen timeout. This is when the screen actually turns off after the phone is unused for 2 minutes. And I could have just made it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever right from here. So basically Bixby can go in and modify any setting within the entire settings of your smartphone, which is pretty fantastic. So let me just go back here. "Hi Bixby, change the screen timeout to 5 minutes."
Screen timeout is already set to 5 minutes.
Okay, so it already knows that it's been set to 5 minutes, so it didn't make a change, but it did notify me that it's already set to 5 minutes. So Bixby allows you to control your smartphone. I can even say something like this: "Hi Bixby, optimize my phone." Okay, so click done, and then basically the same thing I could have done if I went to the settings, went to device maintenance, and if I tap on optimize over here, which is already done. Again, I can go into any one of these settings over here and make a modification. I can actually say to Bixby to change the battery power savings mode to medium, and it's going to do that for me just by voice controls. So that's one of the keys of the Bixby. By the way, I've been saying "Hi Bixby," as you can see, it's going to come right up, to bring Bixby to listen to me. I can also press and hold this button and talk into it, okay? The Bixby button is on the side here under the volume rocker. So you can press and hold into that. Let me show you that real quick. Right here. "Hey Bixby, how are you?"
I'm as happy as a kid napping in the sun. Thanks for asking.
So I can do that as well. So some people are wondering, how do you get into the other Bixby settings? Because if you go over here, and if you tap on this, and if you go to the settings, all you get is access to the card settings, the Bixby Home card settings over here. But there's so much more to Bixby, so where are the other settings residing? So what you want to do is you want to press this button, and it brings up the other Bixby Home. On the top, you've got 2 menu items. Now this one allows you to go into the settings and play with Bixby voice settings, which is when I say "Hi Bixby," whatever comes up. Let's cancel that. So you can have the language and voice style. You can have a voice response. So when you talk to Bixby, do you want a voice response or you just want Bixby to do whatever you ask without responding? Okay. So if you say change a setting, it's going to tell you I changed this setting. But if you disable this, okay, it's not going to say anything. It's just going to do what you asked. Then you've got the automatic listening, which enables me to talk to Bixby hands-free without pressing the button by saying hi Bixby. As you can see, it's going to come right up. You got the voice wake up. You can use it while the phone is locked and all that good stuff. So these are the settings for Bixby Voice when you talk to Bixby. Now there's a bunch of other settings, and in these settings you have a list of complete commands you can utter to Bixby. So you can press this button. It's got your picture, your nickname, your email, your address, your payment methods if you add. But the most important thing here is the Services tab. So if I tap on the Services tab, you'll get access to all the apps that you can control using Bixby. As you can see, you can access the accessibility settings, alarm and timer. Now let me show you one example with the timer. Hi Bixby, set a timer for 5 minutes. It launches the clock and sets the timer so that starts running at the clock right away. So that was the timer, and then you've got Bixby home controls. So let me show you what you can do. You can tap on any one of these guys, and Bixby go to Discover, and it's going to show you all the commands you can actually talk into Bixby. Okay, so you have a bunch of commands for alarm and timer. You have a bunch of commands for Bixby Home. If you go to Discover tab, Manage is something else, but if you go to Discover, you can say this. Now sometimes it doesn't list everything, but it shows you the suggested things to say. And then we go back here, we got the Bixby Vision, we got the calculator, go to Discover, gives you some examples, and after you look at the examples, you can actually guess what else you can say. Okay, so you have all these apps over here that you can control using Bixby Voice, which is absolutely fantastic. They even have a tip calculator here. If you go to Discover, you can see stuff like that. So let me show you that. Hi Bixby, what is a good tip on $100?
Your 15% tip on $100. Total is $15.
Okay, so when you ask a question like that, it gives you the answer right here, a nice big fonts here. At the bottom, you have some other options you can keep asking if you so desire. So you can say, what's an 18% tip? It already knows you talk about $100, so it brings it up.
Total is $18.
So it brings it up just like that, okay? So again, you've got the Bixby Home, okay? You can say, hi Bixby, to bring up Bixby Voice and talk to Bixby and utter commands. Shout commands at it. You can press and hold the Bixby button just like this, right over here. Hey Bixby, how are you?
I'm as happy as a kitten napping in the sun.
Okay, so you can talk into it just like that by pressing and holding the button. And also, if you just tap the Bixby button, it brings up the Bixby interface from where you can access the two menu settings. So this one right here goes to the voice settings. And the voice settings, again, you can disable everything. You can disable Bixby Home. You can disable the Bixby Voice if you wanted to. So if you tap this guy here, you can say never. You can tap on this guy. You can turn this completely off. So if you say hi Bixby, it does not turn on anymore. All right. And everything can be turned off, no problem. And then, of course, you've got this thing over here. And if you go to Services, you can get an idea of what commands you can utter into the Bixby Voice interface. These are just a few examples. You can even say increase the font size. It's going to increase the font size of everything of the entire phone. So again, you can go to the settings, control all the settings. Now, one final thing with the Bixby is the fact that you can, in fact, create custom commands to make your life easy. So you can actually say something like, hi Bixby, good morning, and Bixby can actually turn the brightness on your phone. It can increase the volume of your ringtone and all that stuff. So when you go to sleep, you can say good night to Bixby, and it can reduce the brightness. It can turn on always on display, and at the same time, it can also put your phone on a do not disturb mode. So you can do all those things as a collection if you create a custom command. Now again, if you tap this icon, you can go to quick commands, and from here you can add commands to Bixby. So you can click add, and you can say what you say to Bixby is going to be right here. Okay, and then what Bixby does when you say that command. So when you tap here, oops, add a command, from here you can select a command, say a command, or type a command. Let's just select a command. Let's say when you go to sleep, you want the alarm to be set from 7 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Just an example. Also, let's say you also want it to change, no, that's not the date and time. Select a command. Let's say you want it to do a device maintenance before you go to sleep, so when you wake up everything is good to go. Optimize my phone. So when you say hi Bixby, good night, so when you say that, or when you press and hold the button and say good night directly to Bixby, it's going to run these two commands at the same time. Alright, so again, you can add as many commands as you want and take batch actions with one single voice command. So that's another big feature of Bixby. Again, Bixby Home. Alright, if you press this button one time, Bixby Voice, you can go to the voice settings from here, enable Bixby Voice, tap this, look at the tutorials that if you have to, and then tap this one more time here and go to quick commands to create custom commands for Bixby and just say it directly to Bixby. And that is the end of a quick Bixby overview. This is Bixby 2.0 for Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So in this section, I want to show you how to transform your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 into a full-blown PC via Samsung DeX. What you're looking at on the screen is a Samsung Galaxy Note 9 being projected onto my desktop monitor in the form of Samsung DeX, which is a superb feature of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. As you can see, I have a Windows-like interface in which I can convert my smartphone into a desktop PC and get some serious work done. So in this video, I want to show you what you need to get Samsung DeX up and running and actually show you the complete interface of Samsung DeX. So let's dive in and discover. Alright, so basically for Samsung DeX to work, you need three things. You need your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. You need an HDMI to USB Type-C cable, and of course you need a monitor that has an HDMI in port. So if you look at this cable over here, now as you can see, this side over here is a USB Type-C port, and that's going to plug in to the USB Type-C of your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. And this one over here is the HDMI port. This is the regular standard size, and that's going to plug into the back of the HDMI in port on the monitor. And that's everything you need to get DeX started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect this cable to both ends, one end to the back of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and the other end to the back of this monitor. And I do want to let you know that when you connect the cables to each other, Samsung DeX launches automatically. And the phone itself, the screen on the phone, turns into a trackpad just like on a laptop, and from there you can control the mouse that you're going to see, the mouse pointer that you're going to see on the screen. Okay, so we're going to be using this phone as a trackpad to control the computer-like interface that DeX provides onto the actual monitor. If you really wanted to, you could also buy a Bluetooth keyboard and a Bluetooth mouse and connect those two guys directly to the Bluetooth of your smartphone, and then you can use a keyboard and a mouse to control the desktop interface. In this video, I just want to show you guys everything you can do just with the cable, the phone, and the monitor. But remember, you can always buy the keyboard and the mouse to enhance your experience. We're just going to be using this as a touchpad. Alright, so let's dive in and discover everything. Alright, so I've connected the cable to the monitor. It goes through the back and connects to the back of the monitor, the HDMI port. And as you can see on the phone, it says Samsung DeX. It says start Samsung DeX or switch to screen mirroring. And on the monitor, automatically you see welcome to Samsung DeX. So from the get-go, you have two options. You can either do a screen mirroring. So if I tap switch to screen mirroring, you'll see that the exactly whatever is happening on the smartphone has been mirrored now to the actual monitor. Okay, so that's great that you can do screen mirroring. So if I pull this down, boom, you've got screen mirroring, no problem. Okay, so let's go back and switch over to actual Samsung DeX. So again, what you can do is you can pull this down. You can tap this guy over here, and that's gonna when you tap that, automatically it switches over to Samsung DeX, as you can see. And you're gonna see some notifications everywhere. So if I pull this down, you'll see use your phone as a touchpad. That's one of the options that you have. If you did have a keyboard and a mouse, this wouldn't be a problem. But what we're going to do is we're going to tap on this guy, and as you can see, the phone has turned into an actual touchpad. So if you look over here, I'm going to move my finger back and forth, and over there's a mouse pointer moving up, down, just like a mouse. Okay. If I want to click on something, I can just tap on the screen, and that's going to click something. So if let's bring it over here, right over here to the next, tap on it. Tap on it, tap on it, tap. Let's agree to the terms over here. Click on start, and now Samsung DeX has in fact started. Now I'm going to switch over to my other camera. I'm going to show you everything you can do in the Samsung DeX interface. So you know that I'm using this as a trackpad, so you don't have to see this anymore. Now we can focus on the screen so you can see exactly what Samsung DeX does for us. Alright, so here's the Samsung DeX interface. Now, in the very beginning, you're going to see some tutorials. So this one says touchpad gestures. You can tap on the screen, that's like a click. You can tap with two fingers, and that's like a right click when you convert that into a Windows or a Mac machine. So tap with two fingers to right click on items. If I go next over here, it's going to say you can swipe with two fingers to scroll in any direction. You can also zoom in or zoom out by pinching your fingers on the trackpad. And remember, the trackpad is your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. And if I click next one more time, it says you can touch and hold to select objects on the screen. And you can also touch and hold and move to move objects around the screen, or you can select text. So these are the touchpad gestures you should be aware of as you're using your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 to control the Samsung DeX interface. So let's click OK and take a look around. This is absolutely fantastic. This is a complete desktop interface. Now there are some basics that you need to understand. At the bottom here, you have the apps. Okay, so this is the app drawer that you normally see on your smartphone. And these are all the apps optimized to work on your Samsung DeX. So that's the app drawer. If you tap it, it comes right up. And then this one over here is the recents button. So this is the multitasking panel. So if you have a bunch of apps running at the same time, if you tap this, you're going to see them all listed here. I'm going to show you that in a minute. This is just a regular home button. So if I was in the app drawer, and if I do tap on the home button, it takes me back to my home screen. And then of course you have the back button. So these buttons here mirror what's on your smartphone. The recents button, the home button, and the back button, and this is the app drawer button. Over here, things get a little more interesting right over here in this area. Basically, what you have here is you have your notifications. So if I click on this, these are all the same notifications you see on your smartphone when you pull down the notifications panel. I have my weather widget here. It says the touchpad is turned on for Samsung DeX. It says, oops, and it also, if you click it, it brings back up the actual tutorial, which is great. It also says that Samsung DeX is currently being used, and all the other notifications that I would usually have on my smartphone's notification display. This area is just a mini version of your notifications. By the way, you can tap on this arrow and you can minimize this entire thing over here, the bar. Over here, you have your quick toggle options. If I click on this, these are the quick toggles. You can turn the Wi-Fi on or off, change the sound, turn on or off the Bluetooth. All the quick toggles, including the battery, is right here. Now when I click on that battery, as you saw, my settings opened up and the battery came up. Now I can move this around by tap and holding, as you can see. So with the mouse it's easier, but with the touchpad you just press and hold and you can move this window around. So that's one way to multitask. I can have this right here, and I can then open my internet, okay? And I can have, this is just the internet browser, I can have this, let's move this over here, touch and hold. I can move it right here, so now I'm multitasking, and of course I can have multiple tabs. If I tap over here, it brings up the on-screen keyboard, comes up on your actual smartphone. Okay, so I can type from there. Let's just type in youtube.com. Okay, so I can have YouTube running on this website. Now, it is going to suggest that I open that as an app. So if I click that, YouTube is going to open as a separate application, as you just saw. And if you go to Saki Tech over here, that's my channel. And of course, the video is going to play through the speakers of the actual smartphone. So this is the YouTube app, okay? Now, notice, let me just move this a little bit. Let's move it right here. Notice the multitasking capability. I have this guy here, I've got this guy here, and I've got this guy here, and I'm using the touchpad on my smartphone to control everything. I can use a keyboard and a mouse if I so desired, but any window that you're running actually shows up down here, just like on a Windows computer. I can tap this to minimize it, okay? Minimize, minimize. And then I can tap the Recents app key, and all those apps are going to show up here as well, and I can pull any one to the forefront. So that's one way to run, that's one way to work on your PC. Now that's one thing, and then we were looking at this. This is the Quick Launch Center. And then over here, you can search the phone from here. You can search the entire phone from here. You can tap this button here to take a screenshot of the entire DeX. You can change the volume from here. You can change the ringtone, media, notification system, whatever. You can also bring up the on-screen keyboard. If you tap this, the keyboard shows up on the actual Samsung Galaxy Note 9's screen, just like that, all right? And then of course you've got this over here. This says lock phone and Samsung DeX. You can lock them both and walk away for security. This is the help menu. And this over here, if you click on this, it's going to open the calendar, so you can look at the calendar, the time, and everything. All right, so we can X them out from here. Meanwhile, let me just play the video for a minute. So here's the video playing. I'm gonna pause the video just so you guys can see that this is running in the background. No problem. I'm moving this around. Okay. Now we can also go to the settings. These are the main settings. When you look at the settings of the actual Samsung DeX, let me minimize this for a cleaner look. Minimize, minimize. We have on the top, you're going to see the Samsung DeX settings. So in the smartphone, it's not, the Samsung DeX does not show up on top. But when you're in the DeX mode, the computer knows what you're doing, so it puts the DeX at the top. And of course, if I click on Samsung DeX, as you can see, you have all the DeX options. You have the wallpapers for Samsung DeX. I can change the wallpaper, no problem. Again, I can do home screen, lock screen, or both. Let's just do both. And now you're going to see I can click Set Wallpaper, and boom, in the background, you got a brand new, beautiful, high-resolution wallpaper. Okay, so that's that. And that's the Set Default Audio Output. So if your computer monitor has speakers, you can change it to this. Okay, right now the speakers are coming through the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So these are the Samsung DeX options. Everything else here you're familiar with through your phone. You can make the same modifications here if you so desire. But this is basically Samsung DeX. You've got a desktop lock interface. You got the bar at the bottom. You've got your app drawer. You've got your notifications here, as you can see. You've got your quick panel turn toggles right here. And you've got your other little useful information right over here. And like I showed you guys, you can easily play a video, okay? You can easily play a video, as you can see. And at the same time, do other things like play into your settings. And of course, going back to the app drawer, on the top here, it says Apps for Samsung DeX. So if you click on this one, it will launch the Play Store. And in that Play Store, you've got access to all these applications that are custom designed to get productivity work done on your Samsung DeX. This is the full screen, by the way. So that's the Microsoft Word you can download, PowerPoint, Excel, Handcom Office, OneDrive, Craigslist Plus, ES Explorer. So all these apps are modified to be used via Samsung DeX, no problem. Some of them are paid. Actually, there's no paid apps. They're all free, it seems. So you have a bunch of free apps you can download to boost your productivity on the Samsung DeX. And that is Samsung DeX, guys. All right. Again, all you need is the cable that I mentioned in the beginning, HDMI to USB Type-C. You need your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 to be used as a trackpad and give the functionality of Samsung DeX. And of course, you need this monitor here. Could be any monitor with HDMI in port, and you're going to get this. Oh, and by the way, when you're done using Samsung DeX, all you do is you go back over here to your notifications panel. Not this one, the notifications panel. You go over here where it says Samsung DeX. You just maximize this, and it says switch to screen mirroring. So if you click this, it's going to go back to screen mirroring, and from there you can just disconnect your smartphone and you are good to go. All right, guys. So when you do disconnect from your smartphone, there's nothing to worry about. Everything that you have done on Samsung DeX gets saved automatically, and then whenever you're ready, you can always go back here. You can reconnect to Samsung DeX by tapping here. Again, as you can see, it's going to convert into a trackpad, this phone here, and that's going to go back to Samsung DeX. So in this section, I'm going to show you guys 5 exclusive apps for your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. All of these apps are free and they're absolutely fantastic, full of features. So let's go ahead and download them. First, I'm going to show you, however, which store to go to download these. Now, these are designed for Galaxy products. You're not going to find them in the Play Store. So when you buy a Samsung device, what you get is, if you go into your apps, and if you go to your Samsung folder, you should have a Galaxy Apps Store sitting on your device. It could be here, or it could be just in your app drawer. It could be anywhere. Okay, if you can't find it, just tap here and type in Galaxy Apps, and it's going to come right up. Go inside, and this is in fact a store designed for your Galaxy products. So all the applications I'm going to show you guys today can be found in this store. So when I give you the name of the application, tap over here and just search the name of that application, for example, Sound Assistant, and it's going to show up right here, and then from here you can install that application. So let's dive in and discover some amazing applications for your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Alright, so the very first app I want to talk about is called the Sound Assistant app. So let me launch the Sound Assistant app. Now when you launch the app, you have the option to enable the floating button right over here. If I go into the floating button, it tells me, do I want the floating button to disappear in 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or 15 seconds after I bring it into existence? So how do I bring up the floating button into existence? Very simple. You just change the volume of your device, and boom, there's a floating button right here that you can tap on that allows you to change the volume of your device. From here, you can also access the equalizer if you so desire. And also, if you go back into that button, you can go directly into the settings of your Sound Assistant. And again, now as you can see, the floating button disappeared in 3 seconds. Now every time I press this, it comes up. I can tap on it to access it. When I'm done with it, it takes 3 seconds for this thing to disappear, but I can change that to 5 seconds if you so desire. Now you can customize the floating button a little bit. You can add this here, and of course you have these options here. It allows you to hear alerts via headphones. Things like ringtones, notifications, and alarms will sound right through the headphones instead of the phone. And of course, you've got a bunch of other buttons over here. All you want to do is you want to go and you want to download the Sound Assistant from the Galaxy Apps Store. So if you go to the advanced settings, you have a bunch of advanced settings. You can go from stereo to mono audio if you so desire as well. Okay, and again, that's the main feature here. The little icon that you can use to modify the sound right from here. You can tap this over here, and you have some other options that are going to actually show up if you do have an app running in the background. All right. Now again, to download these apps, you want to go to the Samsung Store, the Galaxy Apps Store, which is an application you have on your Galaxy devices, and then simply type in sound, and it's going to be right there. Okay, so just download, install. It's 100% free. Okay, so the next application I want to talk about, again, if you go back into the Galaxy Store, what I want you guys to search for is, I want you guys to search for Samsung Music. Okay, so this is actually a music application that does not come with your smartphone on many occasions. What you do get instead is you get the Google Play Music app. So you can install this guy, and let me show you how amazing this thing is. It has a couple of features that I really, really like. So here's the Samsung Music. Here's a bunch of albums. So you have the playlist, you have the tracks, you have got the albums. I like the album view. If I go into an album, you get a full list of all the songs in there. And you can also tap here, and that's going to play whatever is playing right now. Control, next track, previous track, whatever. Okay, so if I play something here, now if I actually play something really cool happens. Let me just play this guy right over here. Now you'll see that there's an effect around the edges of the screen. Now this is called the edge lighting. So when something does happen, you get light around the edges of the actual display. So this cool effect is only available with a Samsung Music application. Now when you download the application, you do need to go to the settings over here, and you have to make sure that edge lighting is enabled so you can see this cool effect over here that is running surrounding the edges of the screen. Other things you can do from here is you can go directly into sound quality and effects. So from here you can enable Dolby Atmos, you can access your equalizer, you can access the basic equalizer and all that good stuff. Okay, so I like the fact that it's built into the actual app, and you can also tap on edit, and you can start to edit individual music tracks right from here, delete, add, whatever. Okay, and of course you can go into the settings, and you do have a bunch of options you can modify. But overall, the presentation of this application is really nice. It's very smooth, very quick. So I recommend that you download this if you're looking for a good music application. And of course, with this application, you also get a controller in your notifications panel. Okay, so let's move on to the next application. Now, the next application is called the Edge Lighting Plus. This is a fantastic application, but to understand the Edge Lighting Plus, you need to understand the Edge Lighting. Edge Lighting is already built into your smartphone. We just saw a version of that in the music application that was surrounding the edges of the screen with a light. What I want you guys to do is go to the settings. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go into display and then go into the edge screen. At the bottom here, we have the edge lighting option. So basically what this allows you to do is when you get a text message, when you get a notification, when you get a call, it lights the edges of your screen. Now that light is customizable. So I can actually pick a style, and I can also pick what app I get notified for. So if I tap this, right now I have set it so that every single app, when I get a notification, I also get edge lighting. So here's what it looks like. Okay, right now that's what I have it set up to be. I can go to effect, and I can pick basic, multicolor, glow, glitter. Okay, so by default you only have a bunch of options. When you download Edge Lighting Plus application, you get access to even more applications. So look, that's the basic. That's what happens when I get a notification. I can change the color of it if I so desire. I can go to red color or whatever, and I can change the transparency and the effect, as you can see. Okay, so when I go back out, however, and I download that Edge Lighting Plus application, it gives me even more options. If I go to effect now, you'll see that I have the boomerang option, this one, the fluid option, okay, the galaxy option, which is pretty cool, and of course the loop option, as well as the celebrate option. And I can just click apply, and that's going to apply across the board. And of course, again, just go to the Samsung store, tap on search and tap on Edge Lighting, search for that, and download the Edge Lighting Plus application. Absolutely fantastic application. Now remember, when you do launch the Edge Lighting application separately and you make a modification here, it's going to override whatever you have done in the actual settings over here. Cancel that in the settings over here. Okay, so Edge Lighting Plus is an add-on to the Edge Lighting that's already built into your phone. All right, let's move on to the next application. The next application is called the Voice Recorder, and again, you want to go to the Galaxy apps and just search for Voice Recorder. Voice Recorder is going to come right up. Again, a Samsung exclusive application. It is a professional application. It's 100% free. So once you download this, it's going to be in your app drawer. You click on it and it's a voice recorder. Now what I like about this voice recorder is it's got a couple different modes. The standard mode just uses a standard microphone to record your voice. But if you go to the interview mode and you click record, you can put this on the table, and this side of the microphone records the person sitting on this side, and this side of the microphone, if I tap here, as you can see, picks up noises coming from that side. So this is an interview style recorder as well. And you also get a nice little interface. You can save these things. Okay, let's go back. The standard recording is right here. So if I record something, as you see, I'm recording and it's giving me a nice little graphic here. So that's fantastic. So let's tap plus, save that also. Let's go back. And of course, you have speech to text recognition. So this is actually going to convert what you speak into words. So let's do a quick example. Hey, how are you doing? And as you can see, we got a quick conversion at the bottom here, which is absolutely fantastic. And the whole thing does get saved with the voice and the text. All right, so that's the thing. By the way, when you record something, you tap on the list, and here's a list of everything that you did record. You can create categories and categorize everything. You have some preset ones over here, but you can add more categories as you please. All right, fantastic stuff. You can go to the settings. You got a couple options here to change the quality of the actual recording. Record audio and stereo as well. All right, so that's the voice recorder. It's free and it's fantastic. Let's move on to the final exclusive application and see what it's all about. Alright, so the final application is called the car mode. Again, you want to go into the Galaxy apps and simply search for car mode. It's going to come right up. Once you download the car mode, it's going to be right over here. When you launch the car mode, it's going to ask you to, it's going to give you a little tutorial. So this one says focus on driving. So this is an application that you will be using when you're driving your car. So let's click start and see what happens. So after reading the terms, just agree to all the terms and then click next. And then it's going to say scan for devices. You can do that. I'm not in the car right now. I'm going to skip it, but you can connect to your car via Bluetooth with this application. Let's just skip that for a minute. Just keep clicking next and give all the required permissions to the app so you can fully utilize the app. Let me go to the settings here, enable this, click allow. So all this is going to happen when you first install the app, so it's not a big deal. So anyway, the voice services, we're going to make sure all that is allowed as well. Okay, fantastic. Click agree and boom, that's the car application. You got access to your phone. You got access to your Google Play Music, so you can play music right from here if you so desire. And then you also have, let's go back here, the messages, location, find my car. So if you do park your car, let's say you park your car, you tap on this, you tap on new parking, it saves the location. So you can come back and find your car if you kind of lose it, if you are parked in a busy city. Of course, you've got a bunch of settings. Do not disturb, wake up command, my places. One thing I do like is if you go to the display, you can go to the widget screens and you can rearrange all the widgets from here. Okay, so you can do that. You can rearrange the app, so I can take this one over here and put it over here. If I tap this guy, I can just go like this. Boom, it's now upstairs. I can actually change the navigation bar position as well, so I can go like this or like this. Now this is assuming that your phone is in, it's going to be in landscape orientation. If you have it in portrait orientation like this, then the navigation buttons are at the bottom. But if you have it in landscape orientation, you can have it left or right based on your car. You can also have a quick call decline message that you can enable from here. You can change that message as you desire. Okay, so all these things are very useful when you're in the car. So that's the home. So if you go into the maps, it's going to launch the Google Maps application within the actual app. So you don't have to get out of this app. Everything is focused on driving. And you can use Google Maps completely with this application. Okay, is to always go to About Car Mode and make sure that the app is up to date. This one says the latest version is already installed. so we're good to go. So that's the car mode application. Again, it is 100% free. It's got a nice little interface. It keeps the focus on driving while you're in the car. And of course, when you're ready to exit this application, you just tap this one time and it says close the car mode. You say close, boom, you're done. All right, guys, so those are the 5 applications that I wanted to talk about to you guys. And of course, that brings us to the end of this video. Guys, I hope you learned a few things after watching this massive video and now understand the depth and scope of the Note 9. Make sure to subscribe to Saki Tech and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Saki Tech Online. And of course, have a fantastic day.